Chapter 381. He looked at the mountain peaks that were destroyed by Lu Yiping's finger, and his eyelids twitched. He cupped his fists at Lu Yiping and asked, "May I know why you two are looking for my green phoenix ex-elder Yuze?" At this time Taurus Longjiao released a portion of his aura. Instantly heaven and earth rumbled, and the mountains shook. The green phoenix sect's main gate seemed to be hit by an invincible force, and the sect's grand protective formation rumbled as if it was about to explode. The Green Phoenix Sect Master and the tens of thousands of experts' faces changed. Suddenly, several figures rushed out from the Green Phoenix Sect's ancestral ground, rushing over. The Green Phoenix Sect Master noticed that the person leading them was his master, the previous Sect Master of the Green Phoenix Sect. "Master!" The Green Phoenix Sect Master and the others quickly went up to greet him. However, his master ignored him and went straight to Taurus Longjiao, saying in fear and trepidation, "Li Shan greets the Lord. I didn't know that the Lord was coming to my Green Phoenix Sect, so I didn't go out to greet you. Please forgive me." The other Green Phoenix Sect's ancestors also went up to greet him in fear and trepidation. The Green Phoenix Sect Master was shocked. His master was a paramount god with terrifying will. Then who was this golden retriever man? A sovereign? Taurus Longjiao looked at the group of Green Phoenix Sect's ancestors and said, "There's no need to go out to greet me. Is your Green Phoenix Sect's elder Yuze here?" The group of Green Phoenix Sect's ancestors looked at the Green Phoenix Sect Master. The Green Phoenix Sect Master quickly went up and said, "Yuze is cultivating in the secret territory. I'll order him to come over." Yuze's talent was very good, and he was one of the elders that the Green Phoenix Sect focused on. Therefore, he was arranged to cultivate in the secret territory. At this time, Yuze and the others who were cultivating in the secret territory also felt Taurus Longjiao's terrifying sovereign aura, and they were all shocked. Yuze's communication talisman vibrated. Taking it out, he found that it was his sect master's communication talisman, telling him to go to the sect's main gate, saying that a senior was looking for him. After reading the communication talisman, Yuze felt uneasy. After leaving the secret territory, he didn't go to the sect's main gate. Instead, he used all his strength and fled to the back mountain. Very quickly, the Azure Phoenix Sect Master received a report saying that Yuze was escaping towards the back of the mountain. "He's escaping?" The Sect Master's face. The expressions of his master and the Blue Phoenix Sect's ancestors also changed. "Seal the back of the mountain and bring Yuze here," his master shouted. The Sect Master of the Azure Phoenix Sect respectfully complied, and quickly ordered to seal off the back mountain and capture Yuze. After sealing off the back of the mountain, Yuze was finally captured and brought to Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. "Sirs, may I know what business you have with me?" Yuze was brought before Lu Yiping and asked in a trembling voice, "What's the matter?" Taurus Longjiao asked coldly, "You're from the Inbor race, right?" "What?" The experts of the Blue Phoenix Sect looked at Yuze in shock. Yuze was from the Inyang Boar race? Taurus Longjiao didn't waste any more words with the other party. He immediately sealed the other party's divine power, and left with Yuze and Lu Yiping. Seeing Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao take Yuze away, no one from the Zhongzhong sect dared to stop them. "Sect Master, that young man in blue seems to be the Saint Lu Yiping." Behind the Sect Master of the Blue Phoenix Sect, a Grand Elder suddenly said, "Lu Yiping." The Sect Master of the Blue Phoenix Sect and the other ancestors were shocked. "Are you sure?" The Sect Master of the Blue Phoenix Sect asked the Grand Elder. "It should be. 100 years ago, in the barbarian dragon cauldron, he killed Thousand Star Brilliance and Lord Yukuan with one cauldron. But it was too far away and I only caught a glimpse. Plus, the Heaven and Earth cauldron St. Chi was surging, so I wasn't sure." The Grand Elder stammered. After Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao left with Yuze, they soon learned about the Inyang Boar race from Yuze. The Inyang Boar race's lair is in the Tianshui continent. Taurus Longjiao frowned. He originally thought that the Inyang Boar race's lair would be in the Fanhua continent. The Tianshui continent was far from the Fanhua continent, and Yuze only knew that it was in the Tianshui continent, but he didn't know where it was. Lu Yiping raised his finger and killed Yuze. "In that case, let's go to the Tianshui continent." Lu Yiping didn't mind. "It's been a while since I last saw little Tian. It's a good time to see him. The little Tian he mentioned was the Maize ruler, the founder of the Maize Divine Sect, and one of his 4 direct disciples. The Maize Divine Sect was in the Tianshui continent. Hearing Lu Yiping mention little Tian, Taurus Longjiao smiled. It's been a while since I last saw little Tian. I didn't expect him to be a ruler already. If I don't become a saint soon, I'm afraid he'll catch up to me in a few million years. This kid must be cultivating on a chaos ship. He's so fast. Lu Yiping smiled. His 4 direct disciples were all monstrous geniuses. Of course, those who could become his direct disciples were also monstrous in other aspects, such as their Tao heart and comprehension. Are you saying that your cultivation speed is slow? Lu Yiping asked with a smile. Taurus Longjiao had only cultivated for a few million years. In the myriad of worlds, there were only a handful of people who could reach the peak of the late-stage sovereign realm in a few million years. Taurus Longjiao scratched his head and smiled. Of course it's slow compared to you, my lord. Lu Yiping smiled. The 2 of them headed for the Tianshui continent. After crossing several hundred continents, they finally arrived at the Tianshui continent. Like the Fanhua continent and the ancient Devil continent, the Tianshui continent was the main continent of the divine world. It was huge and had countless sects and clans. However, compared to the Fanhua continent, the Tianshui continent was different. There were many ancient races on the Tianshui continent, including the fairy race, the dwarf race, and the Tianxiang race. Lu Yiping's Tianxiang Divine Hell Fist was created by the Tianxiang race. After arriving at the Heavenly Water continent, Lu Yiping saw a heavily injured expert from the Celestial Phenomenon race and decided to save him in passing. Through their conversation, the 2 of them learned that this expert was called Xiang Yuan, and he was an overgod of 4 elements. Xiang Yuan warmly invited Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao to visit the Tianxiang race. Do you know your Tianxiang race is Xiangqing? Lu Yiping suddenly asked. Xiang Yuan was surprised. My lord knows our old ancestor Xiangqing? Lu Yiping nodded. Xiang Yuan said, Lord Xiangqing broke through to the paramount god realm several tens of thousands of years ago. Unfortunately, he was heavily injured by the 6 Stars Gate's old ancestor, Zhou Xiaoping. His roots were injured, and he was unable to recover. Injured his roots? Taurus Longjiao frowned. It was indeed difficult for a paramount god to recover from an injury to his roots. Even a sovereign would be helpless. If he couldn't recover, it would be difficult for him to advance in his cultivation. Yes, Xiang Yuan said. Back then, Lord Xiangqing found a chaos treasure in the Tianshui secret domain. Zhou Xiaoping saw him and tried to snatch it away. Lord Xiangqing was no match for him and was heavily injured. The chaos treasure was also snatched away. Because of this, our Tianxiang race negotiated with the 6 Stars Gate many times. He shook his head and continued, however, our Tianxiang race is not as strong as the 6 Stars Gate, so the matter was left unsettled. Chapter 382. Is the 6 Stars Gate very strong? Lu Yiping asked calmly. Xiang Yuan nodded with a solemn expression. Very strong. The 6 Stars Gate is one of the strongest super sects in our heavenly water continent. Their strength is second only to the Heavenly Divine Sect. They have 2 sovereigns. Oh, 2 sovereigns. Taurus Longjiao smiled evilly. Why does the 6 Stars Gate have so many sovereigns? Xiang Yuan didn't notice the hidden meaning in Taurus Longjiao's words. He nodded solemnly. The Heavenly Divine Sect only has 1 sovereign, while the 6 Stars Gate has 2 sovereigns. They have the most sovereigns in our heavenly water continent. Our Tian Myriad race has tried to negotiate with the 6 Stars Gate many times, but the 6 Stars Gate didn't even bat an eyelid. The old ancestors who went to negotiate with them were beaten beyond recognition and thrown out of the 6 Stars Gate. If it weren't for our good relationship with the Elf race, Dwarf race, and Golden Lion race, the old ancestors who went to negotiate with the 6 Stars Gate would have been beaten to a pulp. Xiang Yuan's face was filled with anger, but there was also a deep sense of helplessness and unwillingness. Several days later, Lu Yiping's group of 3 arrived at the Tian Myriad race's territory. Although the Tian Myriad race wasn't one of the super sects in the heavenly water continent, they weren't weak either. They had dozens of paramount gods, so their territory wasn't small. Xiang Yuan was a 4-element overgod, and a direct disciple of the Tian myriad race. His bloodline was pure, so his status in the Tian myriad race wasn't low. He had a decent residence in the Concealed Sword City. The Concealed Sword City was one of the best cities in the Tian myriad race. The residence was given to Xiang Yuan by the Tian myriad race. Xiang Yuan brought Lu Yiping and Xiang Yuan into the Concealed Sword City. Then he had the people in the residence come out to greet Lu Yiping and Xiang Yuan. That night, a banquet was held for Lu Yiping and Xiang Yuan to thank them for saving him. If I remember correctly, Xiang Qing's residence used to be in the Concealed Sword City. Taurus Longjiao spoke during the banquet. Xiang Yuan paused for a moment, then laughed. Lord Xiaojin, you might not know this, but after Lord Xiangqing broke through to the paramount god level, he moved to Celestial Phenomenon City tens of thousands of years ago. He hesitated for a moment before he continued, however, ever since Lord Xiangqing's foundation was severely injured by the Six Stars Gate's ancestor, Zhou Xiao, he closed his mansion and hasn't left it for several tens of thousands of years. He only sees the patriarch and a few ancestors who are on good terms with him. He doesn't see anyone else. Xiang Yuan sighed and said, after Lord Xiangqing's core was injured, even Lord Yin Yuyan of the elf race didn't come over. Yin Yuyan? Lu Yiping asked. Xiang Yuan explained, Yin Yuyan is a great beauty of the elf race. She's also one of the most talented experts in the elf race. She has been dating Lord Xiangqing since several 100,000 years ago. However, ever since Lord Xiangqing's foundation was injured and he couldn't recover, Yin Yuan no longer came to Sky Phenomenon City. Lu Yiping's countenance was calm. Tomorrow bring us to Tianxiang City. Just like how it should be. After the banquet was over, Xiang Yuan arranged the best courtyard for Lu Yiping and Huang Xiaolong. Lu Yiping stood in the courtyard, not cultivating. Instead, he was thinking about something. After refining the Barbarian Dragon Grand Formation and gaining control of the Barbarian Dragon's cultivation dwelling, he learned that the Barbarian Dragon had several dozen cultivation dwellings in the Divine World. The Barbarian Dragon's cultivation dwelling on the Brahma Moon continent was only one of them. Moreover, the Barbarian Dragon's cultivation dwelling on the Brahma Moon continent wasn't the main cultivation dwelling. However, Huang Xiaolong didn't know where the main cultivation dwelling was located. Huang Xiaolong took out a token with a sky dragon carved on it. This token was the Barbarian Dragon token he had obtained from the Barbarian Dragon's cultivation dwelling. He had already refined this token, and as long as he was within a certain range, he would be able to sense the other cultivation dwellings of the Barbarian Dragon. The Barbarian Dragon's cultivation dwelling on the Brahma Moon continent had the Fortune Jade Disc, and there might be more in the other cultivation dwellings. A while later, Lu Yiping kept the token into the Heaven and Earth Cauldron and sat cross-legged under Jian Shu to cultivate the longevity incantation. All these years, with the help of Jian Shu's Xianhuang Qi, his cultivation of the longevity incantation was not bad. However, there was still a long way to go before he reached the 49th level. Under the operation of the longevity incantation, Jian Shu's Xianhuang Qi rolled down and poured into Lu Yiping's body. The auspicious cloud above Lu Yiping's head emitted rays of auspicious light. The auspicious cloud could only be obtained after entering the Saint Realm. If one had only entered the Saint Realm, they would only have Saint Qi and wouldn't be able to condense the auspicious cloud. However, Lu Yiping's auspicious cloud was white. It was white and flawless without a trace of impurities. After the Xianhuang Qi entered Lu Yiping's body, under the operation of the longevity incantation, the Xianhuang Qi was continuously converted into Saint Qi. The gods had divine Qi, and the Saint Realm had Saint Qi. Great Daos twined around Lu Yiping's body, emitting a strange light. Among them, the colors of the 1,000 Great Daos were the most dazzling. The 700 Great Daos contained in the last 7 jade plates were faintly discernible, but their colors were lighter. This was because Lu Yiping hadn't completely comprehended the 700 Great Daos contained in the last 7 jade plates. Unknowingly, it was already dawn. Lu Yiping stopped cultivating and walked out of the courtyard with Taurus Longjiao. When they arrived at the main hall, they saw Xiang Yuan already waiting there. When Xiang Yuan saw Lu Yiping and Jian Shu come out, he quickly walked over and bowed. Taurus Longjiao smiled and said, "You look good. It seems that not only have you recovered from your injuries, but you've also made a small breakthrough." Xiang Yuan smiled gratefully and said, "It's all thanks to your divine pills and pointers that I was able to make a breakthrough." Originally, he had only comprehended 81 types of lightning elemental laws. However, after receiving the divine pills and pointers from Lu Yiping and Jian Shu, he had comprehended another type of lightning elemental law. "Work hard. There's still hope for you to reach the peak in the future," Taurus Longjiao said. As for becoming a sovereign, it was difficult. In order to become a sovereign, one not only needed talent, but also great opportunities. Hence, Xiang Yuan brought Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao out of the manor and headed towards Tianxiang City. Tianxiang City was a little far from Fu Sword City. Not long after Lu Yiping and the other two left Fu Sword City, they came across a flying ship. Seeing the 6 shining stars on the body of the flying ship, Xiang Yuan's face changed. "It's the 6 Stars Gates flying ship." The 6 Stars Gates flying ship was extremely fast. It flew forward and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Xiang Yuan looked in the direction the flying ship disappeared and said, "Are they going to Tianxiang City too? Why are they going to Tianxiang City?" One day later, Lu Yiping and the other two arrived at Tianxiang City. As soon as they entered the city, they heard many Tianxiang race's disciples discussing the 6 Stars Gate's arrival. "The 6 Stars Gate is too much. They're here to borrow our Tianxiang race's Tianxiang ring." "What? Borrow our Tianxiang race's Tianxiang ring? That's our Tianxiang race's most precious treasure. Tens of thousands of years ago, they injured our old ancestor Xiangqing and many of our experts who went to negotiate with them. Now they still have the face to borrow our Tianxiang ring. I heard that Zhou Xiao is here too. However, with how overbearing the 6 Stars Gate is, they definitely won't return the Tianxiang ring." Chapter 383. But this time the 6 Stars Gate sent many paramount gods. It seems like they are determined to borrow the astronomical bracelet. Lu Yiping and the other two overheard the discussion of the Tian elephant race's disciples. Xiang Yuan was furious when he heard what Huang Xiaolong said. "How is the 6 Stars Gate borrowing? They are clearly robbing. They are trying to steal our astronomical bracelet." "Don't worry, they won't be able to steal it," Taurus Longjiao said coldly. Xiang Yuan shook his head. "The 6 Stars Gate is too powerful. Since they sent so many paramount gods, they must have already calculated the strength of the ancestors guarding our ancestral land." Before long, the 3 of them arrived at Xiangqing's residence. As a paramount god, Xiangqing's residence was located in the center of Tian Elephant City. It was very grand, and there were no guards at the entrance. A faint array formation enveloped the entire residence. Just as Xiang Yuan was about to shout, Lu Yiping said, "No need." With a flick of his finger, a thumb-sized divine dragon flew out and entered the residence's array formation. It entered the residence without any hindrance and flew towards the secret chamber in the deepest part of the residence. Xiang Yuan's heart trembled. The array formation in the residence was personally set up by their lord Xiangqing. Even an ordinary paramount god would find it difficult to enter. However, the divine dragon condensed from Lu Yiping's energy easily passed through the residence's array formation. Moreover, the array formation didn't react at all. There wasn't even the slightest reaction. At this time, Xiangqing was sitting cross-legged in a secret chamber in the deepest part of the residence. He was circulating his cultivation technique. Rays of light surged around him, and his god force fluctuated. A celestial phenomenon appeared behind him. But a moment later, the celestial phenomenon behind him collapsed. Xiangqing's body trembled, and he stopped circulating his cultivation technique. His face was pale, and there was disappointment in his eyes. In the past tens of thousands of years, he had tried all kinds of methods but to no avail. His astronomical phenomenon bloodline had been severely damaged by Zhou Xiao, and now he couldn't even condense a celestial phenomenon. All of a sudden, he saw a small black shadow pass through his secret chamber's restriction and fly towards him. Xiangqing was shocked, and just as he was about to dodge, the small black shadow stopped in front of him. At this moment he finally saw that this small black shadow was a small divine dragon. However, Xiangqing's eyes gradually widened when he saw the little divine dragon. His face was filled with uncontrollable excitement. He stretched out his hand and the little divine dragon landed on his palm and turned into a character. The character was an ancient road character. Xiang Qing's hands trembled when he saw the word Lu. Holding the word, his figure flashed and he shot out of the mansion. Outside the mansion, Xiang Yuan was still surprised that Lu Yiping's small divine dragon could pass through Xiang Qing's mansion's grand formation without any hindrance. Suddenly, he saw a person rushing out of the mansion. That person was too fast. Before Xiang Yuan could react, that person had already arrived before the three of them. When Xiang Yuan saw the person rushing out of the mansion, he was shocked. Lord Xiang Qing. He was a core disciple of the Tian elephant race and had met Xiang Qing once during the Tian elephant race's general assembly. When Xiang Qing arrived before the three of them, his eyes were fixed on Lu Yiping. His face was filled with excitement and his eyes were red. He walked towards Lu Yiping and suddenly knelt down. He said respectfully, "Xiang Qing greets the Lord." However, he was too excited and his voice was trembling. Xiang Yuan was stunned when he saw Xiang Qing kneeling in front of Lu Yiping and trembling in excitement. Xiang Qing was a paramount god of the Tian elephant race. Even if he met a paramount god of the same cultivation level, he wouldn't be able to kneel down in front of him. Lu Yiping looked at the excited Xiang Qing and reached out to help him up. He smiled and said, "It's been a few hundred years and you've already become a paramount god. Not bad." After being helped up by Lu Yiping, Xiang Qing revealed a smile. "It's all thanks to the Lord's guidance and the divine pellet that you left behind. Otherwise, Xiang Qing wouldn't be where I am today." Then, he saluted Taurus Longjiao respectfully. "Lord Shaojin." Taurus Longjiao patted Xiang Qing's shoulder and smiled. "My master and I have heard about what happened to you. Don't worry, my master and I will help you get back at him." Xiang Qing was stunned for a moment. Then, he realized that Taurus Longjiao was referring to the matter of his origin being injured by Zhou Shao. Then Xiang Qing invited Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao into his residence. Xiang Yuan followed behind them and his mind was in a mess. After entering the residence, Lu Yiping said, "Let's go to the secret chamber. I'll treat your injuries first." Xiang Qing complied respectfully and brought Lu Yiping to his secret chamber. As for Taurus Longjiao and Xiang Yuan, they waited in the main hall. At this time in the Tian elephant race's main hall, Patriarch Xiang Li and the group of Tian elephant race's ancestors were glaring angrily at Zhou Shao's group. "What? Not only do you want to borrow the constellation ring, but you also want to borrow the constellation divine armor." Ancestor Xiang Gan glared at the group of 6 Stars Gates experts. Those were the Tian elephant race's only 2 treasures, and now the 6 Stars Gate wanted to borrow both of them. Other than the constellation ring, they also wanted the constellation divine armor. Zhou Shao looked at the group of Tian elephant race's experts and took a sip of tea. He smiled and said, "Everyone, please don't be angry. We're only borrowing it for 100 years. After 100 years, we'll return it to the Tian elephant race." "What? You want to borrow it for 100 years?" Patriarch Xiang Li's face turned ugly. Initially, they thought that the 6 Stars Gate would only borrow the constellation ring for a short period of time. But now they wanted to borrow it for 100 years. Xiang Gan and the group of Tian elephant race's ancestors also had ugly expressions on their faces. "Your 6 Stars Gate, don't go too far." Xiang Gan raged. "The constellation ring and constellation divine armor are our Tian elephant race's most precious treasures. We will never lend them to outsiders, much less for 100 years. Zhou Shao ignored Xiang Li, Xiang Gan, and the others' anger. He smiled and said, "Everyone, please calm down. Although we're borrowing the constellation ring and constellation divine armor for 100 years, we're not doing it for free. We will pay 100 million Chaos Spirit Stones to the Tian elephant race every year." 100 million Chaos Spirit Stones was definitely not a small sum to the Tian elephant race. 100 years was equivalent to 10 billion Chaos Spirit Stones. Xiang Gan snorted coldly. "Pay 100 million Chaos Spirit Stones every year? Your 6 Stars Gate's wishful thinking is quite good. You want to buy our constellation ring and constellation divine armor for 10 billion Chaos Spirit Stones. Then, I'll also borrow the 6 Star Sword from your 6 Stars Gate for 100 years. And I'll pay 100 million Chaos Spirit Stones every year." Zhou Shao and the group of 6 Stars Gates experts' faces sank. Indifferent, another 6 Stars Gates expert sitting beside Zhou Shao sneered. "I'll make it clear to you today. Even if you don't want to, You have to lend us the constellation ring and constellation divine armor. His will surged out, shaking heaven and earth. Invincible realm will. Xianggan stared at the 6 stars gates expert in shock. At this time Zhou Xiao's will also surged out. Xianggan and the group of Tian elephant race's ancestors felt their bodies grow heavy. It was as if 10,000 mountains were pressing down on their souls. You've already broken through to the invincible realm? One of the Tian elephant race's ancestors who had fought with Zhou Xiao stared at Zhou Xiao in shock. The group of Tian elephant race's experts' faces tightened. They hadn't expected the 6 stars gate to send 2 invincible realm supremes. Chapter 384. Invincible paramount gods were said to be invincible beneath the sovereign lord level, capable of sweeping aside terrifying and even vaster paramount gods. As for the celestial mammoth clan, they only had one invincible over-god, Mammoth Gone. The patriarch of the Tian myriad race, Xiang Li, took a deep breath and said, "Even if you have 2 paramount gods with you, it won't change anything. The Tian myriad race will not lend the Tian myriad divine armor and the Tian myriad ring to the 6 stars gate." Zhou Xiao's expression turned frosty. "I gave you face, but you don't want it. You're courting death." After speaking, his will of will blasted towards Xiang Li. Although Xiang Li wasn't weak, he was only an ordinary paramount god. How could he possibly withstand the will of an invincible expert? He felt as if a mountain had slammed into him, and blood sprayed out of his mouth and nose. The group of ancestors from the Tian elephant race didn't expect Zhou Xiao to suddenly make a move. Moreover, he did it in front of everyone in the main hall. "You're too arrogant, Zhou Xiao." Enraged, Mammoth Gone unleashed a barrage of willpower toward Zhou Xiao. Zhou Xiao activated his willpower and clashed with Xiang Qian. Formless willpower exploded. Waves of air billowed. The Tian myriad race's experts retreated in shock. Zhou Xiao and Xiang Qian both retreated at the same time. The 2 of them were evenly matched. "I can't believe your willpower is so strong." Xianggan took several steps back, looking at Zhou Xiao in surprise. Logically speaking, Zhou Xiao had just broken through to the invincible realm, so it was impossible for him to compete with him. However, Zhou Xiao's willpower just now was not weaker than his at all. Zhou Xiao looked at Xiang Qian and chuckled. "Xiang Qian, I advise you to hand over the constellation ring and constellation divine armor. Otherwise..." Then, he swept his gaze over the group of heavenly elephant race's experts in the main hall. "Otherwise, don't blame our 6 stars gate for bullying the weak." The other invincible over-god of the 6 stars sect suddenly sent his willpower toward the group of experts of the celestial phenomenon clan. In the great hall, the experts from the Tian myriad race were shocked. They circulated their wills of will, but they only felt their soul seas rumbling as they staggered back, coughing up mouthfuls of blood. One strike. More than 40 ancestors of the Tian myriad race suffered soul injuries. This was how terrifying the will of an invincible over-god was. "Stop!" Right at this moment, a figure suddenly rushed over from the horizon and arrived at the main hall in the blink of an eye. Seeing who it was, Zhou Xiao smiled. "So it's you, trash." The newcomer was none other than Xiang Qing. "What's wrong, you piece of trash? Back then I severely injured your foundation. Now you want to experience it again?" Zhou Xiao laughed. The experts of the 6 stars sect smiled. Xiang Qing glared at Qin Wentian. A celestial phenomenon appeared behind him, and a terrifying will gushed out. Looking at the celestial phenomenon behind Xiang Qing, Zhou Xiao was stunned. "Your injuries have healed?" Xianggan and the other experts from the Tian myriad race were also surprised. They were well aware of Xiang Qing's injuries. Over the past tens of thousands of years, they had tried all kinds of spiritual medicines and methods on Xiang Qing, but none of them worked. A few years ago, their patriarchs had even joined forces to treat Xiang Qing, but it was to no avail. Now, his injuries had actually recovered. Moreover, looking at the celestial phenomenon behind Xiang Qing, his injuries had completely healed. Suddenly, the celestial phenomenon behind Xiang Qing emitted layers of golden light. "It's the light of a celestial phenomenon." Xianggan and the others exclaimed in surprise. The light of a celestial phenomenon only appeared when one's bloodline had reached the pinnacle of purity. However, there were only a handful of people in the Tian Myriad race who had reached the pinnacle of purity. One was their Tian Myriad race's primal ancestor, and the other was one of their primal ancestor's sons. Thus, the Tian Myriad race's experts were ecstatic when they saw the light of a celestial phenomenon. Oh, the light of a celestial phenomenon! Zhou Xiao was surprised. He looked at Xiang Qing and sneered, "Brat, it seems like you've had a fortuitous encounter. Not only have your injuries healed, but your bloodline's purity has also reached the pinnacle. But so what? You're still an ordinary expert. If I want to kill you, it's as easy as flipping my hand." Saying this, Zhou Xiao's Invincible will press down on Xiang Qing. However, when Zhou Xiao's will reached Xiang Qing, it disappeared without a trace. It was as if there was an invisible abyss around Xiang Qing that devoured Zhou Xiao's will. Not only Zhou Xiao and the 6-star sect's experts, but even the Tian Myriad race's experts were stunned. The other invincible supremacy god from the 6-star sect also circulated his will to suppress Xiang Qing. But the same thing happened. When his will reached Xiang Qing, it disappeared without a trace. Everyone was bewildered. Suddenly Zhou Xiao punched out. Fist waves rolled out and arrived in front of Xiang Qing in an instant. Just as the fist waves were about to swallow Xiang Qing whole, two figures, one blue and one golden, appeared beside Xiang Qing. No one saw how these two figures appeared. When the golden figure arrived, he directly punched out. In an instant, a terrifying golden fist light whistled through heaven and earth as it collided with Zhou Xiao's fist waves. Zhou Xiao's fist waves were instantly dispersed. After which, the golden fist light broke through space, directly piercing through Zhou Xiao's chest. Zhou Xiao screamed in agony as he slammed into the stone pillar of the celestial phenomenon race's great hall. Zhou Xiao fell from the stone pillar and vomited blood. What? Everyone was dumbfounded. They turned to look at the two figures that appeared. Their gazes were fixed on the burly man from the Golden Retriever, who sent Zhou Xiao flying with a single punch. Of course, the two figures were none other than Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. "Who are you?" Zhou Xiao looked at Taurus Longjiao in fear. Taurus Longjiao reached out and pulled Zhou Xiao to his front. "Zhou Xiao, right?" Taurus Longjiao grinned. His hand tightened, and Zhou Xiao heard the sound of bones breaking. Just as the other invincible overgod from the 6 Stars Gate was about to attack, Taurus Longjiao flicked his finger. The invincible overgod from the 6 Stars Gate was sent flying and turned into a rain of blood. Watching the invincible overgod from the 6 Stars Gate turn into a rain of blood, the ancestors from the 6 Stars Gate were dumbfounded. Even Xiang Gan and the other experts from the Tian Myriad race turned pale with fright. Taurus Longjiao remained indifferent. He couldn't kill Thousand-Star Brilliance or sway Yukuan, but crushing a overgod to death was a piece of cake for him. Zhou Xiao's face turned pale when he saw the invincible overgod from the 6 Stars Gate being killed. Even an ordinary sovereign realm expert wouldn't be able to kill an invincible overgod so easily. Taurus Longjiao punched out. Torrential lightning surged into Zhou Xiao's body, destroying every inch of Zhou Xiao's body. Zhou Xiao screamed in agony. The ancestors from the 6 Stars Gate were horrified, but none of them dared to make a sound or step forward. When the lightning dissipated, Zhou Xiao's body was torn apart. Blood spurted out from his mouth and fear filled his eyes. "You destroyed my stellar sea source." Taurus Longjiao threw Zhou Xiao to a corner of the hall. He then looked at the other ancestors from the 6 Stars Gate. This time, the 6 Stars Gate had sent a total of 30 overgods. Other than the 2 invincible overgods, there were 10 vast overgods. Chapter 385. Seeing Taurus Longjiao looking at them, the remaining ancestors of the 6 Stars Gate paled, including the 10 cosmic overgods. "Lord, our 6 Stars Gate has already submitted to Lord 8 Desolation. Please spare us for Lord 8 Desolation's sake." One of the 6 Stars Gate's cosmic overgods pleaded. The other ancestors of the 6 Stars Gate were submissive. 8 Desolation Overlord? Xiang Qian exclaimed in shock. Xiang Qing and the Tian Myriad race's experts were shocked. The 8 Desolation Overlord was one of the strongest war gods under the Barbarian Dragon Overlord. After the Barbarian Dragon Overlord fell, the 8 Desolation Overlord established himself as the Overlord and divided the divine world with 3 other overlords. He had trillions of troops under his command and countless experts spread across countless continents. Who would have thought that the 6 Stars Gate would submit to the 8 Desolation Overlord? Oh, the 8 Desolation Overlord? Taurus Longjiao's expression remained unchanged as he chuckled. You mean that octopus? Octopus? Everyone was stunned. Then they recalled that the 8 Desolation Overlord's true form was an 8-clawed golden octopus. For a moment, the ancestors of the 6 Stars Gate didn't know how to respond. Suddenly, a divine talisman flew out from one of the 6 Stars Gate's cosmic overgods. The divine talisman emitted 7-colored starlight that wrapped around his body. That's the 7-colored star divine talisman of the 6 Stars Gate's founder. It can travel through time. Xiang Qian exclaimed. The founder of the 6 Stars Gate was the Heavenly Water Continent's #1 expert in array formations. The 7-colored star divine talisman could travel through time and space. It was the #1 divine talisman for escaping. At the same time, another 7-colored star divine talisman flew out from the 6 Stars Gate's other cosmic overgod. Just as the power of the 7-colored star divine talisman was about to bring the two of them away, the crowd saw that the 7-colored star divine talisman, which was originally emitting layers of starlight, suddenly stopped. The light disappeared, and like a piece of paper, it suddenly burned and turned into ashes. The 6 Stars Gate's experts were stunned. Why did the 7-colored star divine talisman suddenly burst into flames? Taurus Longjiao didn't make a move just now. At this time, Taurus Longjiao struck out with his palm. Lightning engulfed heaven and earth, engulfing the 6 Stars Gate's group of ancestors. All of them were sent flying into the sky, and a rain of blood splattered everywhere. When the Tianxiang race saw the 6 Stars Sect's ancestors turned into a rain of blood, they were shocked beyond words. These were 28 overgods, and yet Taurus Longjiao had casually slapped them to death with a single palm strike. They hadn't been able to fight back at all. Taurus Longjiao looked at Zhou Xiao, who had been tossed into a corner. Of the 30 paramount gods who had come to the 6 Stars Gate, only Zhou Xiao was left. Who are you? Zhou Xiao looked at Taurus Longjiao and suppressed the fear in his heart. He said, actually, we, the 6 Stars Gate, are only following orders to borrow the astronomical bracelet and astronomical divine armor. Acting on orders? Xiang Qian and the others were surprised. Zhou Xiao nodded, that's right, we are here on Sir Qin Hong's orders to borrow the constellation ring and constellation divine armor. Sir Qin Hong is one of the 64 war generals under Sir 8 Desolations. Qin Hong? Xiang Qian and the others were shocked. The 8 Desolations sovereign was one of the 4 strongest sovereigns in the divine world. He had 64 war generals under his command, and every one of them was a mid-stage sovereign realm expert. Everyone knew that Qin Hong was a peak mid-stage sovereign realm expert. Xiang Qian, Xiang Li, and the others looked at each other. They didn't expect Qin Hong to send the 6 Stars Gate to borrow the Heavenly Horn Bracelet and Constellation Divine Armor. The Tianxiang race's experts couldn't help but panic. Oh, Qin Hong! Lu Yiping, who had been silent all this time, finally spoke. Zhou Xiao said, that's right, Sir Qin Hong. Sir Qin Hong is in my 6 Stars Gate right now. Taurus Longjiao raised a finger, and a bolt of lightning struck Zhou Xiao, turning him into ashes. With that, all 30 paramount gods from the 6 Stars Gate had died. The Tianxiang race's experts stared at Zhou Xiao, who was the last to die, in silence. No one dared to speak. After calming down, Xiang Qing introduced Lu Yiping to Xiang Qian, Xiang Li, and the others. Old ancestor, let me introduce you. This is Lord Cosmos Saint. Xiang Qing introduced to Xiang Qian. Lord Cosmos Saint. Xiang Qian and the Tianxiang race's experts shuddered when they heard that the blue-robed young man in front of them was the Cosmos Saint. Xiang Qian stuttered, Lord Cosmos Saint. At this time, in the 6 Stars Gate's Great Hall located far away from the Tianxiang race's headquarters, Qin Hong sat on the throne at the center of the hall and asked the founder Tao Yuan, is there still no news from Zhou Xiao? Tao Yuan hurriedly replied, rest assured, Lord. Zhou Xiao and the others will definitely bring back the Heavenly Horn Bracelet and Constellation Divine Armor. The Tianxiang race won't dare to not hand them over. After a moment of hesitation, Tao Yuan asked, Lord, what about the Heavenly Divine Sect? When he led the 6 Stars Gate to submit to the 8 Desolations sovereign, The Eight Desolations sovereign had promised to help him sweep across the heavenly water continent and eliminate the heavenly confusion divine sect. This time, the Eight Desolations sovereign had sent Qin Hong over to help him deal with the heavenly confusion divine sect. Qin Hong glanced at Tao Yuan and said, "Don't worry, it's just the heavenly confusion divine sect. With me around, what are you worried about? When the heavenly horn bracelet and constellation divine armor are brought back, I'll go with you to the heavenly confusion divine sect and deal with that brat Mi Tian." Tao Yuan laughed. With Lord Qin Hong around, I'm naturally not worried. I'm just worried that brat Mi Tian would escape after hearing the news. Qin Hong didn't mind Tao Yuan's words. He can escape from the heavenly water continent, but he can't escape the divine world. Indifferent at it, that brat Mi Tian doesn't know what's good for him. He dares to reject Lord Eight Desolations. He will know the consequences of rejecting Lord Eight Desolations. Another hour passed. Qin Hong got up from his throne and paced around the hall. He stopped after a while and said to Tao Yuan, "Contact Zhou Xiao." Tao Yuan nodded and contacted Zhou Xiao. However, even after a long time there was no reply. Tao Yuan frowned and tried to contact the other invincible paramount god who had gone with Zhou Xiao, but he still didn't get a reply. Tao Yuan's face darkened. He summoned the sect master of the Six Stars Gate and asked him to contact the other paramount gods. However, no matter who he contacted, he didn't get a reply. Tao Yuan's brows were tightly locked together. Qin Hong looked at Tao Yuan and the others, and he said solemnly, "It seems like something happened." He was referring to Zhou Xiao's group. Tao Yuan said, "The Tianxiang race only has one invincible paramount god. With the Tianxiang race's strength, it's impossible for them to be a match for Zhou Xiao's group." Qin Hong was also puzzled. He thought for a moment and said, "Send someone to investigate what happened." Tao Yuan nodded. Right at this time, two figures, one golden and one blue, appeared in the air above the Six Stars Gate's main hall. They were none other than Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. Because Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao did not conceal their auras, Qin Hong, Tao Yuan, and the others raised their heads and saw Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao at the same time. "Who are you two? Why did you come to my Six Stars Gate?" Tao Yuan looked at Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao with suspicion. Lu Yiping didn't look at Tao Yuan. Instead, his gaze fell on Qin Hong. "You are Eight Desolations' subordinate, Qin Hong? I heard that Eight Desolations is cooperating with the Dark Boar race to unify the divine world. Is that right?" Chapter 386. One of the ancestors beside Qin Hong was enraged when he heard Lu Yiping calling out the Eight Desolation ruler's name. His palm struck out at Lu Yiping and the ancestor. "How dare you disrespect Lord Eight Desolation? You're courting death." Lu Yiping didn't even bat an eye at the ancestor's palm strike. A giant golden bell appeared above Lu Yiping's head, spinning rapidly. Above the golden bell, the sun, moon, and stars, earth, wind, water, and fire all emitted dazzling rays of light. Chaos energy roiled endlessly. Bang! The ancestor's palm strike landed on the golden bell and was sent flying by the rotating force. However, the palm strike did not dissipate after being sent flying. Instead, it shot back at an even faster speed. Qin Hong was shocked, and both he and the ancestor attacked at the same time. Qin Hong staggered back from the impact, while the ancestor beside him was sent flying like a broken kite. When he crashed to the ground, blood spurted from his mouth and he fainted. What? Tao Yuan and the Six Stars Gates experts were shocked. Who was Qin Hong? Qin Hong was one of the 64 generals under the Eight Desolation ruler's command. His cultivation had reached the peak of mid-stage sovereign realm, yet he couldn't withstand that palm strike? Moreover, that palm strike was merely repulsed by the other party's force. How could it be so much stronger the moment it was repulsed? Qin Hong was pushed back quite a distance before he managed to stop. He felt his blood and qi roiling, and blood trickled down from the corner of his mouth. He touched the corner of his mouth and looked at the blood on his hand with disbelief. He looked at Lu Yiping and asked, "You are?" Lu Yiping raised his palm, and a giant golden palm appeared in the air, grabbing at Qin Hong. Looking at the giant golden palm descending from the sky, Qin Hong retreated in shock. At the same time he roared, "Activate the Six Stars Grand Formation." Tao Yuan was jolted awake, and he frantically activated the Six Stars Gates Grand Formation. The Six Stars Grand Formation. In an instant, the Grand Formation's light soared to the sky. Rays of starlight swept across heaven and earth, forming a boundless sea of stars. 6 giant stars flew out from the sea of stars. These 6 giant stars were found by Tao Yuan in the star boundary. They were a type of ancient godfall star iron, and after nearly 10 million years of refinement, they became the array eyes of the 6 stars' great array. 6 gigantic stars carrying an astonishing amount of star power flew towards Lu Yiping's giant golden palm. However, the 6 gigantic stars that seemed to possess astonishing power were instantly slapped down by the giant golden palm. When the 6 stars smashed into the 6 stars gate, the huge golden palm descended. Bang! With a loud bang, the sea of stars formed by the 6 stars' great array was instantly shattered by the golden palm. Then the giant golden palm continued to grab at Qin Hong. Qin Hong retreated in a panic, and a huge saber appeared in his hand. The saber was pitch black, and he drew on all the god power in his body. His peak mid-stage sovereign lord power filled the saber, causing it to shine with dazzling light. Qin Hong brandished his black broadsword and slashed forward. Tao Yuan and the other 6 stars gate sovereign also attacked the giant golden palm at the same time. Lu Yiping's face was cold as he watched Qin Hong, Tao Yuan, and the other 2 resisting. His palm force continued to fall. Rumble! A thunderous explosion shook the heavens. Qin Hong, Tao Yuan, and the other 6 stars gate sovereign were sent flying back. Tao Yuan and the other 6 stars gate sovereign smashed through the 6 stars gate's great hall and crashed into a mountain peak in the distance. Qin Hong, on the other hand, was smashed into the ground. Under the giant golden palm's force, the 6 stars gate's great hall and the surrounding mountain peaks were reduced to dust. No one saw how Lu Yiping moved, but Qin Hong, who was smashed into the ground, was lifted up and landed in front of Lu Yiping. With a casual flick of his wrist, Lu Yiping sealed Qin Hong's god power and threw him into the heaven and earth cauldron. Then he raised his palm toward the sky. Above the firmament, thunderclouds gathered and spread out. In the blink of an eye, the thunderclouds covered the 6 stars gate's great hall. Tao Yuan, who was smashed into the mountain peak, was alarmed when he sensed the terrifying lightning energy contained in the thunderclouds. He screamed, "Run!" Then he turned around and ran for his life. The 6 stars gate's disciples were frightened, and all of them tried their best to escape. While the 6 stars gate's disciples were fleeing, a buzzing sound echoed in the air. Streaks of dazzling lightning flashed across the sky, and endless lightning water poured down from the thunderclouds, submerging the 6 stars gate's great hall. Many of the 6 stars gate's ancestors were submerged by the lightning water before they could escape. This lightning water was the origin of chaos divine lightning, and it was the origin of all lightning energy in the world. After a long time, the lightning water stopped and gradually dissipated. The 6 stars gate's great hall had completely disappeared. The 6 stars gate was the heavenly water continent's second largest force, second only to the heavenly Me divine sect. Many of its cities were also reduced to dust. Some of the 6 stars gate's disciples, who were lucky enough to escape, looked at the 6 stars gate's great hall, and their minds went blank. Half an hour ago, the 6 stars gate's great hall was filled with countless palaces, tens of billions of disciples were patrolling, and tens of millions of flying ships were shuttling back and forth. Half an hour later, the 6 stars gate's great hall had turned into ruins. No, it wasn't even ruins. It had turned into a wasteland. Tao Yuan and the other sovereign realm expert of the 6 stars gate had just escaped when they saw a giant cauldron falling from the sky. Tao Yuan and the other sovereign realm expert were about to dodge when the giant cauldron struck them. Both of them exploded into countless pieces. Lu Yiping retrieved the cauldron of heaven and earth and left with Taurus Longjiao. After leaving the 6 stars gate, they arrived at a wasteland. Lu Yiping threw Qin Hong out of the cauldron of heaven and earth. "You're the saint of heaven and earth." After being thrown out of the cauldron of heaven and earth, Qin Hong looked at Lu Yiping with fear in his eyes. Lu Yiping didn't waste any time. He directly extracted Qin Hong's memory fragments and started to read about the Imba clan. Since 8 Desolation had cooperated with the Imba clan, as one of 8 Desolation's generals, Qin Hong should know something about the Imba clan. After a while, after reading Qin Hong's memory fragments, Lu Yiping killed Qin Hong with a finger. Then, he and Taurus Longjiao headed to the land of Black Devils in the Heavenly Water Continent. From Qin Hong's memory, Lu Yiping learned that the Imba clan's lair in the Heavenly Water Continent was in the land of Black Devils. Lu Yiping came to the Heavenly Water Continent mainly to find the Imba clan's lair. It was a pleasant surprise that he learned about the Imba clan's lair from Qin Hong's memory. The land of Black Devils was at the northern end of the Heavenly Water Continent, and beyond it was the endless ocean. Taurus Longjiao looked at the land of Black Devils, which was filled with surging devil qi, and said with a smile, "It seems that when we find the Imba clan's lair in the future, we should look for dangerous places where no one comes." Lu Yiping smiled. It made sense. The Imba clan's lair was all set up in these dangerous places where no one came. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao broke through the devil qi of the land of Black Devils, and entered the land of Black Devils. Lu Yiping didn't use the Eye of Thunder punishment. He paid attention to Jianshu's movements as he moved forward. Sure enough, not long after they entered the land of Black Devils, Jianshu shook violently. Lu Yiping flew in the direction that Jianshu sensed. Finally, the two of them arrived in front of a swamp. The nest of the Yinyang borer race was under the swamp. Chapter 387. At the same time, in the alternate space under the swamp, the Dark Boar race's leader, Yin Qi, asked his subordinate, "Is Qin Hong in the Six Stars Gate?" "Yes." The subordinate quickly answered. Then asked, "Lord, is the Holy Lord really going to help Ba Huang unify the divine world?" Yin Qi sneered. "Do you think Ba Huang can unify the divine world?" The subordinate was stunned. Yin Qi said, "Saint Lord asked Ba Huang to hold the God World's Conference of Myriad Clans in a few years. Saint Lord did say that he would help Ba Huang eliminate the Myriad Clans and Dui during the Conference of Myriad Clans, so that he could unify the God World. However, do you really think that we would let an outsider like Ba Huang sit on the throne of the God World's master?" The subordinate smiled. This subordinate understands. He then added, "That brat Qin Hong has been in the Heavenly Water Continent for a few days, but he hasn't contacted the Holy Lord. Ba Huang's subordinates are getting more and more disrespectful." Yin Qi sneered, "In a few years, Ba Huang will die in the convention, and his subordinates will also be thrown into the heaven-suppressing coffin by the Holy Lord, and refined into heavenly corpses." Right at this time a loud explosion resounded, and the alien space beneath the swamp shook violently, as if it was on the verge of collapsing. Destructive energy struck every corner of the alien space, and some of the weaker Yinyang borer race experts were blasted to smithereens by this destructive energy. Yin Qi and his subordinates were shocked, and they flew out from the main hall. The moment they left the main hall, they saw the surrounding cities crumbling, and the ground cracking. Their Dark Borer race experts were running for their lives, screaming in pain. "Who is it?" Yin Qi roared in anger. Two figures, one blue and one gold, walked out from the void. "Who are you?" Yin Qi's face was cold. Taurus Longjiao looked at Yin Qi and the others below, and he laughed. "The people who will kill you. You talk big." Yin Qi laughed indifferent, and he flew up to Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao, and he struck out a palm at Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. Like Qin Hong, Yin Qi was a peak mid-stage sovereign realm expert. When he struck out with his palm, a frigidine energy roared. This was the Yin borer race's Yin borer power. The Yin borer clan was born with an extremely cold Yin borer power in their bloodline. It was one of the strongest cold Yin borer powers in the myriad worlds. Taurus Longjiao smiled when he saw Yin Qi's palm coming towards him. He waved his palm and met the attack head-on. Taurus Longjiao's palm did not seem to contain any power, but Yin Qi was like snow in a furnace, instantly dissipating. Yin Qi only felt a terrifying and invisible force rushing towards her. Yin Qi's face changed. She changed her palm into a fist and punched out with both fists. When he punched out with his fists, his arms doubled in size. His fists turned pitch black, and the power of the Yin borer soared. But in the next moment, an enormous bang that shook the heavens resounded. Yin Qi felt her entire body stop, and it seemed as if she'd been struck by an enormous chaotic mountain. She was blasted flying and smashed fiercely into the city below, causing the city to be blasted into powder. Inchi's subordinates were dumbfounded. At this time, Taurus Longjiao took a step forward and arrived in front of Inchi's several hundred subordinates. He punched out and lightning flashed across the sky. Numerous lightning gods formed in the sky. Inchi's subordinates were shocked. They hurriedly attacked, but they were all sent flying by Taurus Longjiao's fist force. Even Inchi, a peak mid-stage sovereign realm expert, could not withstand his punch, let alone these paramount gods. In the Boar race's nest other than Inchi, there were only paramount gods, god ancestors and god emperors. Taurus Longjiao's body flickered continuously. Every time he punched out, blood would splatter into the sky. After a long time, Inchi crawled out from the ruins of the city. She saw that the several hundred subordinates had been killed by Taurus Longjiao. Inchi looked at Lu Yiping in the sky. Her figure flickered, and she suddenly grabbed at Lu Yiping. Looking at the approaching Inchi, Lu Yiping did not move, allowing the other party to grab him. When Inchi grabbed Lu Yiping before she could rejoice, she was blasted away by a terrifying force. Her arm was blasted off and she fell to the ground. She looked at Lu Yiping in fear. This young man was even more terrifying than the golden retriever. Was he a paramount god? There were differences in strength between peak late-stage sovereigns. Some peak late-stage sovereigns could defeat other peak late-stage sovereigns. They were called paramount gods. Who are you? How did you find this place? Inchi suppressed her fear and asked angrily. Taurus Longjiao walked over and said, "How did we find this place? Of course it was Qin Hong who told us." Qin Hong. Inchi's face sank. She looked at Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao and said, "The two of you." But before she could say anything, Lu Yiping pulled her in front of him. Lu Yiping held her neck and began to look through her memory fragments. Soon Lu Yiping squeezed her neck and crushed her. "Flying Dragon Continent," Lu Yiping muttered. From Inchi's memory fragments, he knew that the Flying Dragon Continent was the Dark Boar race's headquarters in the Divine World. Back then, the barbarian dragon ruler's heavenly court was established on the Flying Dragon Continent. Although the barbarian dragon ruler had already fallen and his heavenly court had long since collapsed, the Flying Dragon Continent could still be said to be the most prosperous and strongest continent in the god realm. Not only was the Dark Boar race's headquarters on the Flying Dragon Continent, but the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce's headquarters and the Eight Desolation Heavenly Court's headquarters were also on the Flying Dragon Continent. Many other superpowers' headquarters were also on the Flying Dragon Continent. After knowing that the Dark Boar race's headquarters was on the Flying Dragon Continent, Lu Yiping was not in a hurry to go there. Instead, he went to the treasury and entered. Inside the treasury, there were all kinds of treasures, chaos spiritual herbs, and chaos grade materials. There was no end in sight. Lu Yiping found the building tree in the depths of the treasury. There were more building tree pieces in the Dark Boar race's treasury than the Purple Extreme Demon race's treasury on the Brahma Moon continent. Looking at the endless building tree pieces, Taurus Longjiao smiled and said, "After devouring all of these tree pieces, the building tree should be able to grow to 300,000 meters, right?" Currently, the building tree had grown to 230,000 meters, 60,000 meters away from 300,000 meters. Once it grew to 300,000 meters, all of the chaos chi would transform into black and yellow chi. Lu Yiping shook his head and said, "I'm afraid it's not enough." Although there were many building tree pieces here, it was still difficult for it to grow to 300,000 meters. After all, the further it grew, the harder it was to grow. Lu Yiping immediately sat down cross-legged and summoned the building tree. In an instant, the building tree shone brightly, and all of the building tree pieces in the treasury flew toward the building tree. They attached themselves to the building tree and began to merge with it. Soon, the building tree reached 240,000 meters. Half a day later, it reached 250,000 meters. 2 days later, it reached 260,000 meters. However, when the building tree reached 280,000 meters, its growth slowed down. When all of the building tree pieces were absorbed, the building tree stopped at 280,000 meters. Chapter 388. Lu Yiping wasn't disappointed when he saw that Jianshu had grown to over 286,000 meters. Although Jianshu was still 10,000 meters short, As long as he could find the Dark Boar Race's headquarters in the Flying Dragon continent, Jianshu would definitely grow to 300,000 meters. Moreover, Lu Yiping had learned from the Inqi's memories that the Dark Boar Race was also looking for the Fortune Jade Disc. There might even be a Fortune Jade Disc in the Dark Boar Race's treasury. Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao collected all the treasures in the treasury before leaving the Dark Devil Race's lair. After leaving the Dark Devil Race's lair, they headed straight to the Heaven Me Divine Sect. There were still a few years before the Divine World's Convention of Myriad Races began. Thus, Huang Xiaolong wasn't in a hurry to rush to the Flying Dragon continent. When the convention began, the Dark Boar Race's leader in the upper world would appear. However, when Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao passed by some cities on their way to the Heaven Me Divine Sect, they overheard some disciples discussing the Heaven Me Divine Sect. I heard that something happened to the Heaven Me ruler in the Flying Dragon continent a few days ago. He competed with the Heaven Stabilizing ruler in array formation, and was trapped by the Heaven Stabilizing ruler's Blood Sea Chaos Demon array. Heaven Stabilizing ruler. The Heaven Stabilizing ruler is one of our Divine World's top 10 array masters. Isn't Heaven Me ruler courting death by competing with him in array formation? It seems like the Heaven Stabilizing ruler's disciple injured Heaven Me ruler's disciple. Taurus Longjiao frowned when he heard this. Trapped by the Blood Sea Chaos Demon array. He knew that the Blood Sea Chaos Demon array was created by a supreme devil lord in the ancient times. Several days later, the two arrived at the Heaven Me Divine Sect. The Heaven Me Divine Sect was the #1 sect in the Heavenly Water continent. Compared to the past, the Heaven Me Divine Sect was a little desolate. The Heaven Me Divine Sect's disciple was standing guard at the entrance with a listless expression. Seeing Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao approaching, the Heaven Me Divine Sect's disciple cupped his fists and said, "May I know what business you have in coming to my Heaven Me Divine Sect? Our Heaven Me Divine Sect has already announced to the outside world that we are temporarily declining all visitors." Lu Yiping glanced at the disciple and said, "My name is Lu Yiping. I have something to discuss with your sect master." Lu Yiping? When the Heaven Me Divine Sect's disciple heard the name, he didn't think too much about it, but he felt that the name was familiar. The other Heaven Me Divine Sect's disciple's eyes widened in shock as he looked at Lu Yiping excitedly. "You're the Great Ancestor. Grand Ancestor." The other Heaven Mystic Divine Sect's disciples trembled. At this time, the atmosphere in the Heavenly Maze Divine Sect's main hall was heavy. The Heavenly Maze Divine Sect's sect chief Chan Ruifeng's brows were tightly furrowed, and the ancestors of the Heavenly Maze Divine Sect sat in the main hall. Not a single one of them spoke. Chao Rui sighed and said, "What do you all think we should do about the ancestors' matter?" Chao Rui was an invincible paramount god, the second strongest expert of the Heaven Maze Divine Sect. The Heaven Mystic Divine Sect's sect master Chan Ruifeng said solemnly, "I'll make a trip to the Flying Dragon continent personally." Chao Rui shook his head. "Even if all of us go to the Flying Dragon continent, it's useless. Even the Great Ancestor couldn't break the Blood Sea Chaos Demon array. It's pointless for us to go." While everyone was frowning, a Grand Elder rushed into the hall with an excited expression on his face. He was panting heavily as he said, "Sect Master, Lord Chao Rui, the Great Ancestor is here." Chan Ruifeng, Chao Rui, and the others were stunned for a moment before jumping to their feet. "What did you say? The Great Ancestor is here?" Chan Ruifeng couldn't believe it. "It's the Cosmic Saint, the Great Ancestor." "Yes, it's the Cosmic Saint, the Great Ancestor." The Grand Elder exclaimed excitedly. "The Great Ancestor is right outside. Quick! Everyone, come with me to welcome the Great Ancestor." Chao Rui shouted excitedly, and he was the first to rush out of the hall. Chan Ruifeng and the other ancestors also rushed out of the hall. Just as Chao Rui, Chan Ruifeng, and the other ancestors were rushing out of the hall, the other Grand Elders, and core disciples of the Heaven Maze Divine Sect also rushed out after hearing the news. Chao Rui, Chan Ruifeng, and the others were rushing towards the entrance. From afar, they could see the blue-robed figure standing with his hands clasped behind his back. Chao Rui, Chan Ruifeng, and the others became even more excited. However, Chao Rui, Chan Ruifeng, and the others descended from the sky, not daring to fly in front of the Great Ancestor. Finally, Chao Rui, Chan Ruifeng, and the others arrived 100 meters away from Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. Chao Rui, Chan Ruifeng, and the others stopped 100 meters away, not daring to get any closer. All of them knelt on the ground, prostrating. Heaven May's divine sex Chao Rui, Chan Ruifeng. Greet the great ancestor. Great ancestor. Long live the great ancestor. The cheers of the Heaven May's divine sex ancestors, grand elders, and core disciples reverberated through the Jotian skies, shaking the Jotian clouds. This was the sound of excitement, the sound of hope. Rise. Lu Yiping spoke, and without any movement, the Heaven May's divine sex Zhongzhong and the others felt an invisible force lifting them up. Great ancestor, you're finally here. Chao Rui couldn't suppress his excitement, and his eyes turned red. I heard some things on the way here, let's go in first. Lu Yiping said. Chao Rui, Chan Ruifeng, and the others complied respectfully. Under the welcoming of Chao Rui, Chan Ruifeng, and the other experts, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao entered the Heaven May's divine sex entrance. Upon arriving at the Heaven May's divine sex main hall, Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao sat down and asked about the Heaven May's sovereign. Chao Rui, Chan Ruifeng, and the others didn't dare to hide anything, and reported everything they knew to Lu Yiping. On the way here, Lu Yiping had only heard about the Heaven May's sovereign from hearsay, thus he wasn't very clear about what had happened. After listening to Chao Rui, Chan Ruifeng, and the others' reports, he finally understood what had happened. It turned out that the Heaven May's sovereign's disciple Feng Hui had received orders from the Heaven May's sovereign to head to the Flying Dragon continent to purchase a batch of chaos spiritual herbs. At the Flying Dragon City's market, Feng Hui had encountered the Heaven May's sovereign's disciple, Feng Yujie. Feng Hui and Feng Yujie had a grudge against each other in the past. Feng Yujie and his subordinates had attacked Feng Hui, and they had crushed all the chaos spiritual herbs Feng Hui had purchased. The Heaven May's sovereign had rushed to the Flying Dragon continent, and that was why he had competed with the Heaven May's sovereign. Where's Feng Hui? Lu Yiping asked. Chao Rui stammered. He was detained by Feng Yujie in the Flying Dragon City. That's why the ancestor rushed to the Flying Dragon continent. We don't know if he's dead or alive. Detained in the Flying Dragon City, and we don't know if he's dead or alive. Taurus Longjiao's eyes turned frosty. Chao Rui hesitated for a moment, then said, There's news that the Heaven May's sovereign has a close relationship with the Lord of the Immortal World. Oh, the Lord of the Immortal World. Lu Yiping didn't bat an eyelid. The Immortal World was the leader of the myriad worlds, stronger than the Divine World, Dragon World, Demon World, and Devil World. The Lord of the Immortal World could be said to be the strongest person in the myriad of worlds. Lu Yiping patted his robe, stood up, and said to Taurus Longjiao, Let's go to the Flying Dragon continent. Initially, Huang Xiaolong had planned to stay at the Heaven May's divine sect for a few days, but since this matter had happened, he and Taurus Longjiao no longer had the mood to stay. Chapter 389. Hearing that Lu Yiping wanted to leave the Flying Dragon continent, Chao Rui, Chan Ruifeng, and the others hurriedly opened their mouths and said that they would lead the way for Lu Yiping. No need. Lu Yiping shook his head. Just the two of us will be enough. The two of you can stay in the Heaven Me divine sect and wait for news. Chao Rui, Chan Ruifeng, and the rest didn't dare to disobey and could only comply. Under the escort of the Heaven Me divine sect's experts, Lu Yiping and Huang Xiaolong tore through space and disappeared into the horizon in the blink of an eye. Chan Ruifeng looked in the direction in which Lu Yiping had disappeared and said, Great Ancestor will definitely be able to rescue Great Ancestor. Chao Rui's eyes were filled with worry. He said, Rumor has it that the Great Ancestor is very decisive when it comes to killing. I hope he doesn't kill the Sky Dominator. If he does, he will definitely offend the Lord of the Immortal Realm. When Chan Ruifeng and the others heard this, their hearts sank. Although their great ancestor was known as the Saint of Heaven and Earth, the Lord of the Immortal World was known as the number one person in the myriad of worlds. His cultivation was unfathomable. There was no saint in the God realm, but the Immortal Realm, the leader of the 10,000 realms, had a saint. The Lord of the Immortal Realm was also a Tao-confirming sage. Moreover, the ruler of the Immortal World controlled the Immortal World's heavenly court, and had countless experts under his command. The barbaric dragon sovereign of the past couldn't compare to him. Every time the meeting of the myriad worlds was held, the world lords would have to pay respects to the ruler of the immortal world. Although the barbarian dragon sovereign was the ruler of the divine world, he still had to be respectful to the ruler of the immortal world. After Lu Yiping and Huang Xiaolong left the heavenly divine sect, they did not stop to rest. Soon, they left the heavenly water mainland and arrived at the ancient devil continent. Not long after, the two crossed the ancient demon continent and approached the flying dragon continent. The flying dragon continent, as the strongest, most central and largest continent in the divine realm, was the most prosperous place in the divine realm. Therefore, the closer one was to the flying dragon continent, the more prosperous it was. Lu Yiping no longer suppressed his cultivation. Reversing time and space, he crossed a world with each step. Taurus Longjiao was carried along by Lu Yiping's holy power, and he felt that the world around him was constantly changing. While Lu Yiping and Huang Xiaolong were on their way to the flying dragon continent, news of the 8 desolate sovereigns gathering came from the divine world. When the news spread, the countless main continents of the divine world were shaken. Although it was said to be a convention of myriad races, all the superpowers with rulers were invited by the 8 desolation overlord. Therefore, it was not just the myriad races that were invited. When the news spread, countless main continents in the realm of the gods were shaken. At the same time, the patriarchs of the various super sects led their experts and rushed to the flying dragon continent. For a moment, a storm was brewing. Lu Yiping, who was rushing to the flying dragon continent, also heard the news. Isn't the convention set for 4 years later? Taurus Longjiao muttered. What trick is Bahuang playing? Could it be that the Yinyang Bora race has changed their plans and asked him to hold the convention in advance? Hold the convention in advance? Lu Yiping did not mind. That's good too. To him, it did not matter whether the convention was held in advance or not. Just as Lu Yiping and the Dragonhorn Golden Bull rushed to the flying dragon continent, the heaven-stabilizing ruler in the flying dragon city also learned that the 8 desolation ruler was gathering the myriad races and holding a convention of the myriad races. The sky-stabilizing ruler's disciple, Feng Yujia, said to the sky-stabilizing ruler, Master, the 8 desolation sovereign is not playing any tricks, right? The sky-stabilizing ruler's face was calm as he said, I received news that he has the support of the Yinyang Bora race. He wants to use the convention to sit on the throne of the realm of the gods. Feng Yujia was shocked. The Yinyang Bora race. The sky-stabilizing ruler smiled indifferent. So what if he has the support of the Yinyang Bora race? Does he think he can sit on the throne of the realm of the gods? What a joke. Feng Yujia laughed. You're right. Master, you're a person of virtue and prestige. Not only are you a peak late-stage sovereign, but you're also one of the divine world's top 10 array masters. You're also the president of the divine world's Array Master Association. Now that you have the support of the Lord of the immortal world, only you are qualified to sit on the throne of the realm of the gods. The sky-stabilizing ruler stood up, and runes appeared all over his body. These runes flickered with the aura of the Grand Tao. This is a Grand Tao array. Feng Yujia exclaimed in surprise. Master, you've broken through again? The sky-stabilizing ruler smiled. That's right. In fact, I broke through 100 years ago when I was in seclusion. In the past 100 years, I've completely consolidated my Grand Tao array realm. Feng Yujia quickly cupped his fists and bowed. Congratulations, Master, for breaking through. Then he smiled. With Master's Grand Tao array realm, you're now the divine world's #1 array master. When Master reveals his Grand Tao array realm during the convention, it will definitely shake the divine world. The sky-stabilizing ruler laughed heartily. Feng Yujia hesitated for a moment before asking, Master, should we release that sky-stabilizing ruler? Then he added, I heard that 100 years ago, the heaven and earth saint appeared in the Brahma moon continent. The sky-stabilizing ruler didn't seem to mind. It's just the heaven and earth saint. That Lu Yiping is just a true saint who entered the true saint realm a few million years ago. What's there to be afraid of? Then he said, prepare well in the next few days. Come with me to welcome Lord Zhuling. Lord Zhuling? Feng Yujia exclaimed excitedly. Master, you're saying that the golden lightning saint Lord Zhuling is coming to the divine world. The Golden Lightning Saint Zhu Ling was one of the strongest subordinates of the Lord of the Celestial World. He was also a true saint. The sky-stabilizing ruler smiled. That's right, Lord Zhu Ling is coming to the divine world. The Lord of the Celestial World has already learned that the convention is going to be held in 8 Desolation. That's why he sent Lord Zhu Ling here. Feng Yujie was shocked. Then he laughed happily. With Lord Zhu Ling here, Master, you'll definitely be able to sweep through the 8 Desolaces and Dewey in this convention and become the Lord of the divine world. The sky-stabilizing ruler laughed. As the convention drew closer, the Flying Dragon continent was bustling with activity. Experts from all over swarmed over, and the sect masters of super sects that were rarely seen appeared one after another. News of the arrival of rulers spread across the Flying Dragon continent. The Yin-Yang ruler is here. He's already at South Wind City. Not just the Yin-Yang ruler, even the Great Luo ruler is here. What, the Great Luo ruler? The expressions of the various experts changed when they heard that the Great Luo overlord had come. Even the rulers who had already arrived on the Flying Dragon continent were shocked when they heard that the Great Luo ruler was here. The Great Luo ruler was the oldest ruler in the divine world. He was even older than the barbaric dragon ruler, and was also a supreme ruler. The Great Luo ruler is here. How many years has it been since the Great Luo ruler appeared? He's actually here to participate in the convention? I heard that he was invited by the Great Luo ruler. Do you think it's possible that the Great Luo ruler has already become a true saint? The arrival of the Great Luo ruler shook the Flying Dragon continent. On this day the wind was gentle and the sun was shining brightly. Somewhere in the sky above the Flying Dragon continent, 2 figures, one blue and one gold, appeared. Chapter 390. The 2 newcomers were none other than Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao. Taurus Longjiao looked at the bustling Flying Dragon continent and said, I didn't expect that old man Grand Luo to come as well. Lu Yiping's expression remained unchanged as he said, Let's go to Bright Volcano. The location of the battle between Ruler Bewildering Heaven and Overlord Steadfast Heaven wasn't in Flying Dragon City, but Bright Volcano outside of Flying Dragon City. Thus, Ruler Bewildering Heaven was currently trapped in Bright Volcano. Soon Bright Volcano came into view. When Lu Yiping and Taurus Longjiao arrived, the area around Bright Volcano was filled with experts and disciples from various supersections. There were probably tens of thousands of people. Lord Steadfast Heaven's Blood Sea Chaos Demon Array is indeed worthy of its reputation. Even the fire of the Radiant Volcano has been completely suppressed. One of the patriarchs exclaimed, This Ruler Bewildering Heaven probably won't be able to leave this Blood Sea Chaos Demon Array for the rest of his life. However, a mid-stage ruler like him dares to challenge Lord Steadfast Heaven? He deserves it. This Blood Sea Chaos Demon Array is capable of messing with one's mind. Even late-stage rulers would find it difficult to resist it. When the inner demons appear, they will go crazy. Look, Ruler Bewildering Heaven's aura is already unstable, and his face is filled with pain. It seems like his inner demons are about to act up. The experts and disciples gathered around Bright Volcano pointed at the Blood Sea Chaos Demon Array and whispered among themselves. Ruler Bewildering Heaven, who was sitting cross-legged inside the Blood Sea Chaos Demon Array, was like a monkey being watched. Some of them even sneered at his misfortune. The Blood Sea Chaos Demon Array actually has more than 1 million blood devils. Ruler Steadfast Heaven's array has probably reached the level of Grand Tao Array. An ancestor suddenly said, What? Grand Tao Array? Doesn't that mean Ruler Steadfast Heaven is the #1 array master in the divine world? Doesn't that mean no one can break the Blood Sea Chaos Demon Array? The crowd was in an uproar. Lu Yiping and Jian Wushuang pushed through the restless crowd and walked in. They saw the Mount Radiant Volcano sea of blood churning and demons dancing wildly. In the middle of the sea of blood, a square-faced middle-aged man in sky-blue battle armor was sitting cross-legged. His eyes were closed and from time to time, he would show a pained expression. Obviously, he was using all his strength to resist the power of the blood demons in the Blood Sea Chaos Demon Array. Looking at the millions of blood fiends in the Blood Sea, Lu Yiping continued walking towards the Blood Sea Chaos Fiend Array. because the Blood Sea Chaos Demon formation was so thick that even ordinary sovereigns couldn't get close to it. Everyone was watching from afar. When they saw Lu Yiping walk out of the crowd and walk towards the Blood Sea Chaos Demon formation, they were stunned. Many experts noticed Lu Yiping. What is this person trying to do? Don't tell me you want to test how strong the Blood Devil Chi in the Blood Sea Chaos Demon array is? A White Sun Divine Sect expert laughed. Maybe he wants to go in and test the power of those blood devils. Another Terminus Divine Sect ancestor laughed. The two's mocking laughter caused many people in the crowd to laugh as well. Amidst the crowd's mocking laughter, Lu Yiping continued walking towards the Blood Sea Chaos Demon formation. Finally, he reached the edge of the Blood Sea Chaos Demon formation and walked straight into it. When the White Sun Divine Sect expert saw that Lu Yiping really wanted to enter the Blood Sea Chaos Demon formation, he sneered, "Is this kid an idiot? He's courting death." The Terminus Divine Sect ancestor also shook his head. However, just as Lu Yiping walked into the Blood Sea Chaos Demon formation, the roaring Blood Sea Chaos Demon formation actually retreated. It was retreating to both sides. Everyone was dumbfounded, including the White Sun Divine Sect and Terminus Divine Sect experts. Lu Yiping continued to walk forward, and the Blood Sea Chaos Demon formation continued to retreat towards them. With every step forward Lu Yiping took, the Blood Sea Chaos Demon formation retreated to both sides. Everyone was dumbfounded by this strange scene. What's going on? Does this person have a supreme divine artifact on him? A supreme divine artifact that repels both nefarious and devil aura? Someone exclaimed. A divine artifact that repels both nefarious and devil aura. There were indeed such divine artifacts in the divine world. Standing among the crowd was a peerless beauty. Her beautiful eyes were also looking at Lu Yiping with uncertainty. This woman came from the immortal world, the daughter of a supreme expert. She had followed the Golden Lightning Saint to the divine world, and her name was Meng Qiantong. "Miss, does this person really have such a divine artifact on him?" A woman beside Meng Qiantong couldn't help but ask. The Blood Sea Chaos Demon formation's power was shocking. A divine artifact that could repel the Blood Sea Chaos Demon formation's evil aura had most likely surpassed a supreme grade innate treasure. Meng Qiantong stared at Lu Yiping and didn't say anything. Her beautiful eyes were filled with doubt. This person didn't have any energy fluctuations, but he was able to repel the Blood Sea and Demon Chi of the Blood Sea Chaos Demon Grand Formation. Could it be that he really had a divine weapon that could repel the evil Chi and Demon Chi? Amidst the crowd's discussion, Lu Yiping walked step by step towards the depths of the Blood Sea. At this time, the million blood fiends in the Blood Sea Chaos Demon formation attacked Lu Yiping. Looking at the incoming blood fiends, Lu Yiping didn't move. A giant golden bell appeared above his head. On the bell's surface, the sun, moon, mountains, and rivers shone brightly. Chaos energy poured down like a waterfall. The golden bell spun, and the chaos energy formed a giant vortex. When the blood devils attacked, they were all blown away by the huge vortex formed by the golden bell. Everyone was shocked. "This is the Bell of Chaos?" The Terminating Divine Sect's ancestor exclaimed in shock. "What, the Bell of Chaos?" The crowd was in an uproar when they heard this. Even Meng Qiantong was shocked. The Bell of Chaos was a chaos treasure, and a supreme grade chaos treasure at that. "He really does have the Bell of Chaos," the woman next to Meng Qiantong exclaimed. In her opinion, only someone with the Bell of Chaos could condense the shape of the Bell of Chaos with their own power. Otherwise, how could it be so easy to condense the shape of a supreme treasure of chaos like the Bell of Chaos? Everyone looked at the Bell of Chaos above Lu Yiping's head. Other than shock, their eyes were burning with desire. That was a supreme grade chaos treasure. Taurus Longjiao sneered when he heard the crowd's exclamations. As Lu Yiping walked deeper into the Blood Sea, more and more blood fiends appeared. However, no matter how many blood fiends there were, they were all repelled by Lu Yiping. But there were too many blood fiends. After they were repelled, new blood fiends formed in the Blood Sea. Lu Yiping was soon surrounded by blood fiends from all directions. Looking at the endless number of blood fiends, Lu Yiping's body surged with light. The Bell of Chaos vibrated, and golden light burst out, scattering the blood fiends. With a single step, Lu Yiping arrived beside Ruler Mitian. Ruler Mitian's eyes were still closed, and a pained expression was plastered on his face. Lu Yiping placed a hand on his shoulder and brought Ruler Mitian out of the Blood Sea. They arrived above the Blood Sea Chaos Demon Array. Then the bell of chaos above his head flew up and expanded again, turning into a 1,000,000 tall mountain. Light swirled around it as it slammed down on the Blood Sea Chaos Demon Array. The words heaven and earth saint seemed to have supreme magic, suppressing everyone present into silence. Meng Qiantong looked in the direction Lu Yiping had left and muttered to herself, "The Cosmos Saint?" The Cosmos Saint's reputation in the immortal world was just as great. The heaven-stabilizing ruler quickly learned that the Blood Sea Chaos Demon Array had been broken. The celestial ruler was sitting in his residence with the Golden Lightning Sage, Zhu Ling. He was listening to the Golden Lightning Sage's holy words. When he heard that the Blood Sea Chaos Demon formation had been broken, and that Lu Yiping was going to snap his neck, his expression darkened. The Golden Lightning Sage Zhu Ling remained calm. "Don't worry. With me here, Lu Yiping won't be able to harm a single hair on your head." Because he had come in secret, he hadn't alerted the various factions of the divine world. Thus, they were still unaware of the Golden Lightning Sage's arrival. The heaven-stabilizing ruler stood up and bowed to Zhu Ling. "Lord Zhu Ling, don't worry. If I can become the ruler of the divine world, I will definitely live up to the immortal master's expectations." The Golden Lightning Sage nodded in satisfaction. "Don't worry. With me here, the Imba race is nothing to fear. As for Lu Yiping, he's just a little saint who has been cultivating for several million years." After Lu Yiping left with Lord Mysterious Heaven, he and Taurus Longjiao arrived at a certain valley. They casually set up a large formation around them and began to expel the Blood Devil Chi from Lord Mysterious Heaven's body. Aside from the Blood Devil Chi, Lord Mysterious Heaven had also been heavily injured by the heaven-stabilizing ruler. Thus, after expelling the Blood Devil Chi from Lord Mysterious Heaven's body, Lu Yiping began to treat his injuries. Lord Mysterious Heaven's injuries weren't light. Not only were his heaven's will, domain of divinity, will, and sea of soul heavily injured. With his injuries, it would take him tens of thousands of years to recover. Even for Lu Yiping, it would take him several days to fully recover. Lu Yiping had an auspicious cloud above his head. Saint Chi surged around him and enveloped Lord Mysterious Heaven. At the same time, Lu Yiping summoned the Tree of Life. Life energy poured down and entered Lord Mysterious Heaven's body. As time passed, the pale and bloodless Lord Mysterious Heaven's face gradually regained its color. In the blink of an eye, several days passed. Lord Mysterious Heaven's aura had completely stabilized. Previously, his sea of soul was almost dried up and cracked like the earth. But now his sea of soul was brimming with life energy and glowing with auspicious light. Lu Yiping not only healed his sea of soul, but also used his saint power to reconstruct it. In the future, even if Lord Mysterious Heaven met Lord Stabilizing Ruler again, Lord Stabilizing Ruler would have a hard time shaking his sea of soul. Lord Mysterious Heaven woke up. He opened his eyes and saw Lu Yiping in front of him. He knelt down emotionally and called out, "Master." Lu Yiping nodded with a smile and helped Lord Mysterious Heaven to his feet. Then Lord Mysterious Heaven bowed to Taurus Longjiao. Taurus Longjiao patted him on the shoulder and laughed heartily. "Not bad. You're a big shot of the God realm now." Lord Mysterious Heaven scratched his head, embarrassed. "I'm not skilled enough. I've embarrassed Master and Lord Shaojin." Taurus Longjiao shook his head. "Ding Tian has been a supreme ruler for many years. It's normal that you're not his match." Then his eyes turned cold. "Ding Tian knows that you're Master's disciple, but he still dares to treat you like this. He really thinks that Master won't dare to touch him just because he has the Lord of the Celestial Realm behind him." Lu Yiping's eyes were also cold. "Tomorrow is the convention of the myriad races. Master will seek justice for you." Then, the master and disciple had a long talk. The night was long, but it eventually passed. The sun rose, illuminating the valley with golden light. Lu Yiping and the other two soared into the air and headed toward Flying Dragon City. Chapter 392. When Lu Yiping's group of 3 arrived at Flying Dragon City, the place was bustling with activity. Flying ships from various supersects were parked all around the city. This was the first time the convention of myriad races had been held in the divine world since the fall of the barbaric dragon ruler. The convention of myriad races was held once again after several million years. The Yin-Yang ruler has arrived. The 7th leaf ruler has arrived. The starry sky ruler has arrived. News of the arrival of sovereigns could be heard in the sky above Flying Dragon City. The experts who came to participate in the convention of myriad races were shocked when they heard the names of the sovereigns. Some of these sovereigns had made their names tens of millions of years ago, while others hadn't appeared in the world for 1 or 2 millennia. Yet, they were here to participate in the convention of myriad races. For example, the starry sky ruler and the barbaric dragon ruler couldn't even invite them when they ruled the divine world. Many sovereigns who hadn't appeared in the world for 1 or 2 millennia suddenly appeared in the world. Many sects' patriarchs, and ancestors sensed that something was amiss. The Great Overlord Du Yi and Great Overlord have arrived. Suddenly a voice rang out. The bustling convention of a myriad races instantly quieted down. The Great Overlord Du Yi and Great Overlord had arrived together. The Great Overlord Du Yi, like the 8 Desolation ruler, used to be the barbaric dragon ruler's right-hand man. Now he had an army of trillions and divided the divine world with the 8 Desolation ruler, ruling over countless continents. Not long after the Great Overlord Du Yi and Great Overlord Du Yi arrived, the same voice rang out again. This time it was trembling. The immortal world's golden lightning sage, Lord Zhuling, and the sky ruler have arrived. The sovereigns who had already arrived in the convention of myriad races rose to their feet in shock. What? The immortal world's golden lightning sage, Lord Zhuling. Moreover, he had come with the sky ruler. Even the 8 Desolation ruler, Great Overlord Du Yi and Great Overlord Du Yi rose to their feet in shock. However, the 8 Desolation ruler and Great Overlord Du Yi's expressions darkened. The Sky Ruler and the Golden Lightning Sage's arrival undoubtedly meant that they had the support of the immortal world. This cast a shadow over their hearts. The 8 Desolation ruler sucked in a deep breath. The sovereigns. After he finished speaking, he left the palace side by side with Hegemon Du Yi and Hegemon Big Luo. The other hegemons followed closely behind them. Just as they exited the main hall, they saw a figure walking through the air from the north gate of Flying Dragon City. Auspicious light bloomed, and heavenly dragons coiled around him. It was the Golden Lightning Saint Zhu Ling. Behind Zhu Ling were the heaven-dominating ruler and close to 100 experts. These experts were all rulers. When the 8 Desolates Hegemon and the traveling Hegemon saw the nearly 100 Hegemons behind the fixed Hegemon, their hearts sank. Suppressing the shock in their hearts, the 2 of them quickly stepped forward to greet the Golden Lightning Saint Zhu Ling. When they arrived before Zhu Ling, the 2 of them and the sovereigns of Grand Luo all bowed. The Golden Lightning Holy Zhu Ling looked at Ba Huang, Du Yi Big Luo and the others and said with a smile, "I heard that the divine world is holding a convention of myriad races. Zhu Ling came uninvited, you won't mind, right?" The 8 Desolation ruler hurriedly waved his hand. "It's the God Realm's honor to have Lady Zhu Ling here. We can't be happier." Zhu Ling smiled. "That's good." Then, under the invitation of the many rulers, he arrived at the site of the convention of 1,000 races, entered the main hall, and sat on the main seat. Only after Zhu Ling sat down did the others dare to sit down. Due to Zhu Ling's arrival, everyone spoke cautiously. For a time, the atmosphere in the main hall was somewhat tense. A while later, it was time for the convention to begin. One of the 8 Desolation ruler's subordinates came up behind Ba Huang and said carefully, "My lord, it's time for the convention to begin, but Lord Tianyu hasn't arrived yet." The Tianyu he spoke of was ruler Tianyu. Like the 8 Desolation ruler Du Yi and Ding Tianyu, he was one of the barbarian dragon ruler's right-hand men. Together with the 8 Desolation ruler and the others, he occupied the countless continents in the north of the divine world. The 8 Desolation ruler frowned. Since Tianyu hasn't come, there's no need to wait for him. The convention will begin as scheduled. His subordinate respectfully acknowledged. The 8 Desolation ruler stood up and bowed to Zhu Ling with cupped fists. Lady Zhuling, it's time for the convention to begin. Let's have Lady Zhuling start this convention. Zhuling waved his hand and smiled. This convention is your divine world's convention. It's not appropriate for me, someone from the immortal world, to start it. It's better for you all to do it. Then, he added, I think Ding Tian should be the one to host this convention of myriad races. The 8 Desolation ruler's smile froze, then turned ugly. At the same time, anger welled up in his heart. He was the one who gathered the myriad races to hold the convention, but now Zhuling was asking Ding Tian to start the myriad cluster convention? Everyone turned to look at Ding Tianyu. Ding Tian stood up and bowed with a face full of smiles. Ding Tian obeys Lady Zhuling's order. Zhuling nodded with a smile. His gaze swept across the 8 Desolation ruler, Dui, and a Luo ruler. Millions of years ago, the barbarian dragon ruler fell, leaving the divine world without a ruler. The immortal master is concerned about the divine world and wishes for the divine world to choose a new ruler. I think Ding Tianyu is suitable. What do you all think? Zhuling's words silenced the hall. No one dared to say anything. The 8 Desolation ruler squeezed out a smile and said, Lady Zhuling, the divine world has been without a ruler for many years. It is indeed time for a new ruler. However, I think that the new ruler should not only have integrity and talent, but his strength must also be recognized by everyone. Zhuling smiled at his words. You mean to say that we should hold a competition, and the strongest person will be the ruler of the divine world? That's how it should be. The 8 Desolation ruler smiled, and a battle stage appeared in his hand. When the battle stage appeared, chaos chi filled the air, lightning flashed, and earth, wind, water and fire roiled. A supreme great innate artifact, the endless battle stage. The starry sky ruler exclaimed. That's right. This is the endless battle stage of the ancient heavenly court. The 8 Desolation ruler smiled. Once the endless grand formation is activated, this battle stage can withstand the power of a sovereign. Even sovereigns will be fine if they fight inside. He then tossed the battle stage into the air. The endless battle stage floated above the flying dragon city. It expanded to 100,000 li in radius, and the might of a supreme great innate artifact spread out. Lightning, wind, and all kinds of other energies swept through heaven and earth. Zhuling looked at the heaven-stabilizing ruler, Dui ruler, and origin immortal ruler, and asked, what do you all think? The heaven-stabilizing ruler smiled and said, the 8 Desolation ruler is right. To become the ruler of the divine world, one must be recognized by everyone. I agree with the 8 Desolation ruler's suggestion. Dui ruler, origin immortal ruler, starry sky ruler, and Yin Yang ruler nodded. Zhuling smiled and said, in that case, I will be a fair judge for all of you. You can use all kinds of methods in the competition, and only the winner and loser will matter. Who will compete first? The heaven-stabilizing ruler soared into the air and landed on the endless battle stage. He stood proudly and said, I'll go first. Light surged from his body as he released his sovereign aura, enveloping heaven and earth. At the same time, the aura of the great Tao around him condensed into array talismans. Seeing the array talismans formed from the heaven-stabilizing ruler's aura, whether it was the 8 Desolation ruler, Du-Yi, or origin immortal ruler, their expressions changed. Great Tao array. Chapter 393. The expressions of the starry sky ruler, the Yin Yang ruler, the 7-leaf ruler, and the hundreds of other rulers present also changed. In the past, the barbarian dragon sovereign had ruled over the divine world, and was hailed as the divine world's #1 formation master. However, even the barbarian dragon sovereign's formations had not reached the level of Grand Tao formations. Now that the Heavenlock sovereign's formation had reached the level of a Great Tao formation, didn't that mean he was even stronger than the barbarian dragon sovereign? Right at this moment, the fixed heaven god's body suddenly glowed with a strange light. Everyone's expression changed again when they saw the strange light that suddenly appeared on the heaven-stabilizing ruler's body. Holy light! Immediately afterward, streaks of colorful gas flew out of the fixed heaven ruler's body and circled around him. Holy Chi! The 8 Desolation sovereign, Dui sovereign, Starry Sky sovereign, and the other sovereigns exclaimed in shock when they saw the colorful gas. Holy light, holy Chi! Only by entering the Saint Realm could one have holy light and holy chi. Now the heaven-stabilizing ruler was radiating with holy light and holy chi. Didn't that mean that the heaven-stabilizing ruler was a saint? The 8 Desolation ruler's expression was as gloomy as still water. He hadn't expected the Sky ruler to have not only reached the Great Tao Formation realm, but also the Saint realm. If the heaven-stabilizing ruler had merely stepped into the Grand Tao Formation realm, then there was still hope for him to suppress the heaven-stabilizing ruler with the Imba race's regenerative ability and the chaos spiritual treasure bestowed upon him by the Imba race. However, if the heaven-stabilizing ruler had stepped into the Saint realm, then there was no hope for him at all. His eyes flashed. Lord Steadfast's ability to become a saint definitely had something to do with the master of the immortal world. However, he didn't think that the master of the celestial world would be willing to invest so much in nurturing the Sky Dominator in order to push him onto the throne of the God world. Even with the strength of the immortal world's heavenly court, they had to pay a great price to cultivate a Saint Realm master. The 8 Desolation ruler glanced at Zhu Ling. No wonder she was so confident. She'd already predicted Lord Firmament would win. Landing on the no-beginning battle stage, the fixed heaven ruler's gaze swept across 8 Desolation, Grand Luo Du and the others. A confident smile appeared on his face as he said, "Not bad. Not only have my array formation skills reached the level of Grand Tao array, my cultivation has also entered the Saint Realm. Everyone who wants to come up and fight me first." The sovereigns of 8 Desolation, Grand Luo Du, Starry Sky, and Yin Yang remained silent. 8 Desolation wanted to take a step forward when he saw the heaven-stabilizing ruler on the supreme battle platform, but he stopped himself. After a long while there was still no movement. Noticing that the 8 Desolation, Grand Luo Dui and the other Sovereign Realm sovereigns had yet to make a move, Sky-stabilizing sovereign chuckled and asked, "Is no one going to accept the challenge?" The Golden Lightning Sage Zhu Ling spoke, "If no one comes forward to accept the challenge, then it will be deemed that everyone has given up on the challenge. Ding Tian will be the next ruler of the divine world." "Let me." The 8 Desolation ruler couldn't help but step forward. He rose from the ground and landed on the supreme battle platform. The Sky Dominator wasn't surprised to see the 8 Desolation ruler accept the challenge. "Brother 8 Desolation, please." The 8 Desolation ruler harumphed coldly and released his chi. Instantly the ground shook, thunder rumbled, lightning flashed, and a hurricane raged. In the Flying Dragon City, all the experts from the various great sects and clans of the various continents looked at the blue-robed figure who was walking in the air. Lu Yiping didn't move quickly, but he arrived in the sky above Flying Dragon City in the blink of an eye. When Lu Yiping saw the arrogant Heaven Dominator standing on the battle stage with his hands clasped behind his back, he pointed a finger at the Heaven Dominator. A ray of light pierced through the void, piercing through the walls of the battle stage and shooting towards the Heaven Dominator. The Sky Dominator was shocked. He roared and slapped out with both palms. Auspicious light reappeared, and his holy power roared as he met Lu Yiping's finger attack. However, Lu Yiping's finger attack pierced through his roaring holy power and continued towards the Sky Dominator. Sensing the destructive power of Lu Yiping's finger attack, the Sky Dominator panicked. He retreated again and again while shouting, "Lord Zhu Ling, please save me." The Golden Lightning Saint Zhu Ling took a step forward and arrived in front of the supreme battle platform, blocking the Sky Dominator's path. He punched out with a punch that could destroy eternity, causing the sun and moon to fall. A deafening explosion shook the heavens. Heaven and earth flickered. The boundary wall of the endless battle stage exploded, and the endless battle stage dimmed. This attack seemed to strike the depths of everyone's soul. Everyone felt their soul sea tremble. Chapter 394. As the no-beginning battle stage's array exploded, the destructive shockwaves swept out in all directions. The surrounding buildings were reduced to nothingness. Not even a speck of dust was left behind. Cracks started to appear on the ground like a piece of bread being torn apart by an invisible force. Dewy Sovereign, Starry Sky Sovereign, and the other sovereigns were shocked and fled in panic. Even the 8 Desolation Sovereign, who was sent flying by the Fixed Sky Sovereign, also fled in fear. However, both of them were struck by the shockwaves at the same time and were sent flying back. The 8 Desolation Sovereign crashed into the ground in the distance, turning the surrounding buildings into dust. He coughed out mouthfuls of blood and felt as if all the divine veins in his body were about to rupture. Was this the power of a sage? Even the Fixed Sky Sovereign, who was already a sage, was smashed to the ground. His blood and energy were in turmoil, and blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. He couldn't hide the shock in his eyes. He was already a sage and felt that he wasn't far from the sage realm. Even if he couldn't fight back, he could still escape. But now he couldn't even withstand the shockwaves. More importantly, Lu Yiping didn't use any sage energy. It was just an ordinary finger force. Zhu Ling blocked the shockwaves with an invisible force and stood firm like a divine mountain. He stood on the no-beginning battle stage and looked at Lu Yiping. Lu Yiping, with me here, you won't be able to touch a single hair of the Fixed Sky Sovereign. You've only been here for a few million years, you're no match for me. I advise you to leave. The Fixed Sky Sovereign is the new master of the divine world nurtured by the immortal master. I've been here for a few million years and I'm no match for you? Lu Yiping snickered. He didn't seem to move, but he was already in front of Zhu Ling. He punched out and instantly billions of heavenly dragons flew out. The heavenly lightning turned into a sea of lightning. The sun and the moon dimmed, and the land seemed to have fallen into an endless abyss. With one punch, the world fell into eternal darkness. Everyone was shocked. What kind of vast power was this? Zhu Ling's expression changed. He roared and punched out with both fists. When his fists punched out, golden lightning filled the sky, as if it came from the beginning of heaven and earth, as if it came from the origin of the lightning world. Within the golden lightning, sage energy pierced through the heavens. Rumble! Zhu Ling's fists collided with Lu Yiping's. Heaven and earth trembled. Du Yi, Grand Luo, Starry Sky, and the Yin-Yang sovereigns felt as if their souls and hearts were being crushed. Du Yi, Grand Luo, and the Starry Sky sovereigns coughed up mouthfuls of blood. Even Heaven Ruler, who was a Saint Realm Master, was no exception. Everyone ignored their injuries and fled in panic. They only wanted to escape from the Flying Dragon City, and the further the better. Zhu Ling also felt her body tremble, and she was pushed back by the terrifying force all the way to the edge of the stage. Zhu Ling only felt the blood vitality in her chest churn and her throat heat up. Opening her mouth, she spat out a mouthful of golden blood that glowed with auspicious light. This was the blood of a saint. This mouthful of blood resembled a golden mountain as it slammed into the endless arena, causing it to tremble. The crowd was shocked to see the golden lightning saint Zhu Ling being sent flying by Lu Yiping's single punch. She even spat out a mouthful of blood. The golden lightning saint Zhu Ling was an ancient saint in the immortal world. He had been a saint for tens of millions of years, and he was a powerful saint from the ancient era 50 million years ago. Yet he couldn't withstand a single punch from Lu Yiping. However, Lu Yiping had only been a saint for several million years. How are you so strong? Zhu Ling couldn't believe it. He couldn't accept that he had lost to Lu Yiping. Zhu Ling had been a saint since the ancient era, and he hadn't slacked off in the past 50 million years. With the help of the Heavenly Court's resources, he had swallowed top-grade chaos spiritual pills to cultivate every day. Every 10,000 years, his holy energy would increase by a fraction. But now he couldn't even defeat Lu Yiping, who had been a saint for several million years. How am I so strong? Lu Yiping was indifferent. Because you're too weak? I'm too weak? Zhu Ling's face turned purple hearing Huang Xiaolong's words, and he felt like vomiting. Lu Yiping calmly walked towards Zhu Ling. In fact, he wasn't wrong. Zhu Ling was too weak. Even though Zhu Ling had been a saint since the ancient era, and had been a saint for 50 million years, he had only been a minor saint. There were 3,000 Grand Daos in the universe, and other than the 3,000 Grand Daos there were 100,000 minor Daos. Some saints had proven their Grand Daos, while others had proven their minor Daos. Zhu Ling had proven his minor Daos, while Huang Xiaolong had proven his Grand Daos. Moreover, he had comprehended the most important 1,000 Grand Daos in the Fortune Jade Disc. I don't believe that I can't defeat a minor saint who has proven his Dao for several million years. Zhu Ling snorted coldly. Holy qi surged from his body, and an auspicious cloud appeared above his head. The auspicious cloud above his head was the same as Lu Yiping's. It was pure and flawless white. As he summoned his auspicious cloud, Zhu Ling's holy qi surged wildly. His Dao qi turned into Dao dragons, and the auspicious light soared into the sky. The entire flying dragon continent saw this auspicious light. Zhu Ling's fists once again pushed towards Lu Yiping. The Dao dragons and auspicious cloud's holy qi merged with his fists. As his fists pushed towards Lu Yiping, they surged endlessly, as if they were going to flatten 10,000 worlds. In the blink of an eye, his fists reached Lu Yiping. Lu Yiping's expression remained calm as he looked at his opponent's surging fist energy. He summoned the auspicious cloud above his head. Lu Yiping's auspicious cloud blossomed with auspicious light, completely overshadowing Zhu Ling's auspicious cloud. Lu Yiping's auspicious cloud was also white, but it was 10 times bigger than Zhu Ling's. Zhu Ling's auspicious cloud was 1 mu in size, but Lu Yiping's auspicious cloud was 10 mu in size. Zhu Ling was shocked when he saw Lu Yiping's auspicious cloud. He found it hard to believe that the auspicious cloud was formed by the accumulation of holy qi. If Lu Yiping's auspicious cloud was so big, didn't that mean that Lu Yiping's holy qi was 10 times his? Lu Yiping had only attained his Dao for a few million years, but the amount of holy qi he could gather was so much higher than his. One had to know that it was extremely difficult to gather holy qi. Zhu Ling had been gathering holy qi for tens of millions of years, but his auspicious cloud was only 1 mu in size. Suddenly Lu Yiping's Dao qi surged out, and a Dao of lightning flew out. This Dao of lightning contained all of the lightning element's minor das. It was the source of all lightning energy, and it was above the lightning world's origin. The Dao of lightning. You've comprehended the Dao of lightning. Zhu Ling exclaimed in shock. There were 3,000 Daos in the universe, and the Dao of lightning was ranked high among the 3,000 Daos, ranked 17th. He didn't expect Lu Yiping to have comprehended a Dao, and it was the 17th ranked Dao of lightning. Although he was known as the Saint of Golden Lightning, the Golden Lightning he comprehended was only a minor Dao of lightning. Its power was far from being comparable to Lu Yiping's Dao of lightning. Suddenly Lu Yiping's Dao qi shone brightly, and another Dao of lightning flew out. Chapter 395. This Grand Dao was even more resplendent than the Grand Dao of lightning, and the aura it contained was even stronger. Just the aura alone was enough to make Zhu Ling's heart palpitate. This Grand Dao consisted of earth, metal, water, fire, and wood. Zhu Ling was barely able to maintain his composure when he saw the Grand Dao of lightning, but when he saw this Grand Dao, his expression changed drastically. 5 elements Grand Dao. Among the 3,000 Grand Daos, there were 10 Supreme Grand Daos. The 5 elements Grand Dao was one of the 10 Supreme Grand Daos, ranked 10th among the 3,000 Grand Daos. Impossible! Zhu Ling screamed. Even the Celestial Master failed to comprehend a Supreme Grand Dao. How did you do it? As the Saint of Metal and Lightning who had cultivated for 50 million years, he understood how difficult it was to comprehend a Supreme Grand Dao. Even the Celestial Master failed to comprehend a Supreme Grand Dao. Celestial Master? Lu Yiping sneered and punched out. The auspicious cloud shone brightly as boundless holy energy, lightning, and 5 elements Grand Dao flew out along with Zhu Ling's fist. Lu Yiping's Grand Dao of lightning and 5 elements Grand Dao collided with Zhu Ling's fist. In an earth-shattering explosion, the Grand Dao of lightning and 5 elements Grand Dao shattered Zhu Ling's fist into nothingness. The Grand Dao of lightning and 5 elements Grand Dao swallowed Zhu Ling whole. Zhu Ling paled when he saw the Grand Dao of lightning and 5 elements Grand Dao swallowing him whole. A chaos spiritual artifact appeared in his hand. This chaos spiritual artifact was a lightning spear. The aura it exuded was much stronger than the 8 Desolation Sovereign's low-grade golden Qilin halberd. It was a mid-grade chaos spiritual artifact. Zhu Ling stabbed out with the lightning spear in his hand. In an instant, lightning energy surged out and blasted towards Lu Yiping's Grand Dao of lightning and 5 elements Grand Dao. However, it was useless. Even with a mid-grade chaos spiritual artifact in his hand, no matter how hard he pushed the saint energy in his body, no matter how hard he pushed the lightning energy he had comprehended, he still couldn't stop Lu Yiping's lightning Grand Dao and 5 elemental Grand Dao. With a loud explosion, Zhu Ling felt an unimaginable force slamming into him. He was sent flying from the edge of the endless battle stage and was completely blown out of the endless battle stage. The Zhu Ling was like a meteor that emitted lightning as it smashed into the end of the Flying Dragon City. The Flying Dragon City shook. Dong! When the Zhu Ling smashed into the end of the Flying Dragon City, it was as if the world was about to be destroyed. A mushroom-shaped wave of air exploded. Even though everyone was very far away, they still felt their minds buzzing and their ears losing their sense of hearing from the explosion. As the shockwaves exploded, the palaces of the various super clans in the city crumbled and turned into dust wherever the shockwaves passed by. The rumbling sounds were endless. Dui Big Luo and the other sovereigns in the starry sky were horrified when they saw the buildings and palaces in the Flying Dragon City being destroyed, leveled, and razed to the ground. The steadying ruler stared at the golden lightning sage Zhu Ling, who had been sent flying. Apart from shock, he couldn't help but feel terrified. Lu Yiping sent Zhu Ling flying with a single punch before walking toward the heaven-stabilizing ruler. The sky-stabilizing ruler's face was pale as he said in a trembling voice, "Lord Lu Yiping, I am the new master of the divine realm chosen by the divine master." However, just as he finished speaking, Lu Yiping reached out and grabbed his neck. Lu Yiping lifted him up with one hand and said indifferently, "The master of the divine world chosen by the divine master? Who the hell does the divine master think he is? You injured my disciple, damaged his soul sea, and laid down the blood sea chaos demon formation, causing his inner demons to act up and turning him into a demonic creature. Do you really think I won't dare to kill you just because you have that idiot Hao Tian behind you?" Hao Tian was the name of the master of the divine world. Lu Yiping's cold voice resounded through the Flying Dragon City. His hand tightened, and the sky-stabilizing ruler felt his throat being crushed. To his horror, he realized that all his strength had been sucked away, and he couldn't even struggle. Suddenly, a loud boom came from the end of the Flying Dragon City. The golden lightning sage Zhu Ling, who had just been smashed into the ground, flew out from the sand and rocks. Zhu Ling's hair was disheveled, and his entire body seemed to be charred. The smell of charred flesh was the result of the 5 elements fire energy. His armor was in tatters, and his expression was one of shock, anger, and humiliation. Sensing Lu Yiping's murderous intent, Zhu Ling said, "Lu Yiping, if you dare to kill the sky-stabilizing ruler, you'll become the enemy of the entire divine world. Think carefully about the consequences. Is it worth it to become the enemy of the entire divine world just to avenge your disciple?" Lu Yiping squeezed his hand, crushing the sky-stabilizing ruler's throat inch by inch. The power of the great Tao of lightning surged out of his hand and blasted into the other's body, wildly destroying his vitality and saint veins. In the end, the sky-stabilizing ruler's saint veins were completely destroyed. His vitality vanished, and his aura gradually dissipated. Zhu Ling's expression changed. Lu Yiping looked at Zhu Ling. "It's worth it to become the enemy of the entire divine world just to avenge my disciple." His voice reverberated through the Flying Dragon City. Dui Grand Luo and the other rulers of the starry sky were all shaken. It was worth it to become the enemy of the entire divine world just to avenge my disciple. What kind of shocking words were these? Who in the myriad of worlds would dare to become the enemy of the entire divine world? Lu Yiping dared. He, the cosmic saint, dared. Bewildering ruler clenched his fists tightly. Lu Yiping called upon the power of the 5 elements to envelop the sky-stabilizing ruler, incinerating him in the blink of an eye. A saint realm master had fallen. Dui Grand Luo and the others were even more shocked than when they'd seen the barbarian dragon ruler fall. Zhu Ling's expression was extremely ugly when he saw Lu Yiping incinerate the sky-stabilizing ruler. He'd once told the sky-stabilizing ruler that as long as he was around, Lu Yiping wouldn't be able to touch a single hair on his head. But now Lu Yiping had annihilated the sky-stabilizing ruler. Lu Yiping didn't look at Zhu Ling. Instead, he turned to look at the Octoterra ruler. The Octoterra ruler had just been defeated by the sky-stabilizing ruler on the platform of no beginning. Now that Lu Yiping had wiped out the sky-stabilizing ruler, he was inwardly delighted. However, when he saw Lu Yiping looking at him with an unfriendly gaze, the Octoterra ruler paled. You're the Octaterra ruler? Lu Yiping asked. The Octaterra ruler's heart trembled. This junior is indeed Octaterra. Lu Yiping pulled the Octaterra ruler in front of him with a wave of his hand. The Octaterra ruler felt like his soul was about to leave his body when he saw Lu Yiping standing right in front of him. Trembling, he asked, Lord Lu, may I ask how I've offended you? The Boer tribe, Lu Yiping said coldly. Hearing this, the Octaterra ruler's face turned ashen. Just as Lu Yiping was about to extract the Octaterra ruler's memory fragments to search for information regarding the Boer tribe, a giant beast claw reached out from the void, aiming for Lu Yiping's back. This beast claw had 5 razor-sharp claws, and its attack speed was too fast for anyone to react to. Moreover, the power it contained far surpassed Zhu Ling's previous attack. Even Zhu Ling couldn't react in time. By the time Zhu Ling reacted, the beast claw had already pierced Lu Yiping's back. Chapter 396. Dui Great Luo. And the other sovereigns were shocked when they saw the beast claw piercing into Lu Yiping's back. Taurus Longjiao and Mei's Tian's expressions changed drastically. Master! Master! Immediately after, a 2-headed beast with a giant tail and millions of wraiths wrapped around its body walked out from the void. The beast's ferocious aura stunned Dui and the others. Just as the beast appeared, Lu Yiping's cold voice sounded, Dark Hell Ghost Beast. It was a true saint stage Dark Hell Ghost Beast. Everyone looked over and saw Lu Yiping walking out from another part of the void. As it turned out, the ghost beast was just an illusion left behind by Lu Yiping. The Dark Hell Ghost Beast did not expect it to attack Lu Yiping's illusion. Lu Yiping looked in another direction and said, Little turtle of the Boer race, come out. Everyone was shocked and looked in the direction Lu Yiping was looking. It was empty. Zhu Ling was also confused as she could not sense any Boer race experts. At this time, specks of light appeared in the surroundings. These specks of light gathered and formed a 2-meter-tall middle-aged man. Zhu Ling's heart trembled when she saw the middle-aged man. Heaven and Earth Incarnation. To use Heaven and Earth Incarnation, one needed to comprehend the Transformation Grand Tao. The Transformation Grand Tao was ranked higher than the Lightning Grand Tao in the 3000 Grand Tao. The middle-aged man was one of the Boer race's progenitors, called Yin. Yin looked at Lu Yiping and said calmly, Your divine sense is not bad. You can sense my presence. He then said, Lu Yiping, going against the Boer race will not end well. With your cultivation realm and strength, if you submit to the Boer race, we will unify 10,000 worlds and let you rule 1,000 worlds. Zhu Ling's expression sank, and she snorted coldly when she heard the Inu of the Boer race talk about unifying the 10,000 worlds. Lu Yiping looked at the Valley and the Dark Hell Ghost Beast and said solemnly, If I don't die in this life, I will definitely destroy the moths. Inu shook his head, That's a pity. He then turned to Zhu Ling. How about the 3 of us join forces and kill that Lu guy? Zhu Ling's eyes flickered before she finally nodded. All right. Valley smiled, Good. You will soon find out how wise your decision today is. Saying this, a cloud appeared above his head. His auspicious cloud was the same as Lu Yiping's and Zhu Ling's. It was also a pure and flawless white. However, Zhu Ling's auspicious cloud was only 1 mu, and Lu Yiping's was only 10 mu. However, the auspicious cloud in Valley was 14 mu. It was 14 times the size of Zhu Ling's and almost half the size of Lu Yiping's. Auspicious cloud St. Chi surged like an endless sea, emitting a bright and auspicious light. When Zhu Ling saw the auspicious cloud in Valley, she was shocked. For every mu of auspicious cloud, the saint power would increase by more than just a little. She didn't expect this Imba clan elite's auspicious cloud to have cultivated to such a level. Even in the entire immortal world, there were not many who could surpass this person. Suddenly, Great Tao Qi filled Valley's body and a Great Tao flew out. This Great Tao shone with an uncertain light, sometimes gold, sometimes black, sometimes red, and sometimes rainbow. The Great Tao of Transformation. Zhu Ling's heart sank. This Imba clan elite had indeed comprehended the 14th ranked Great Tao of Transformation. Immediately after the Great Tao of Transformation, another Great Tao flew out from Ingu's body. This great Tao was even thicker than the great Tao of transformation. Its light was even brighter, and its aura was stronger. It was even stronger than the aura of Lu Yiping's previous great Tao of the 5 elements. The cloud was 8 acres large, and 7 great Taos flew out at the same time. These 7 great Taos were all in the top 1,000. Yin Valley stood proudly, and his aura locked onto Lu Yiping. With his hands behind his back, he said, "Lu Yiping, you have the 5 elements great Tao of destruction, but my destruction great Tao can completely suppress your 5 elements great Tao. My great Tao is stronger than yours, and my auspicious cloud saint energy is stronger than yours. You must die today. I gave you a chance just now, but unfortunately you didn't cherish it." At this point, Yin Valley suddenly threw a punch at Lu Yiping. When the punch was thrown, the power of the 10 great Taos roared, and the heavens and earth brightened. The flying dragon continent seemed to have entered daytime. The black hell demonic beast also attacked at the same time. Its body instantly expanded, and its mountain-like beast claws struck out. The power of the great Tao filled the sky, and saint energy flooded the heavens and earth. Chapter 397. Zhu Ling hesitated for a moment before also circulating her Tao and holy force, punching at Lu Yiping with both fists. The 3 Tao-proving sages attacked at the same time. Heaven and earth changed color, and all living things trembled. The entire flying dragon city was like a straw hut that was about to be flung into the air. Even Bewildering Sky's expression changed drastically. The 3's attacks pierced through the void and arrived before Lu Yiping in the blink of an eye. Die! Yin Yu's eyes were cold. Although sages were said to be immortal and indestructible, that wasn't absolute. When the destructive power exceeded the limit of a Tao-proving sage, it could still kill them. When Pangu split the sky, he was stopped by 3,000 Khanate demon gods. Later on, Pangu used the heaven-splitting divine axe to slay more than half of them. Among the 3,000 Khanate demon gods, there were many sage realm cultivators. Lu Yiping watched as the 3's attacks pierced through the void and arrived before him. His expression remained unchanged, and the auspicious cloud above his head glowed with auspicious radiance. The great Tao of the 5 elements and the great Tao of thunder flew out. However, a 3rd great Tao flew out. When this great Tao flew out, terrifying cracks appeared in the surrounding space. These were cracks, not cracks. It was as if the entire flying dragon city couldn't withstand the power contained in this Tao. This great Tao was so bright and powerful that it completely suppressed the power of the 5 elements great Tao. It even suppressed the power of the Yin Valley's great Tao of destruction. When this Tao flew out, Dui Gran Luo starry sky, and the others seemed to see the reincarnation of all things. Reincarnation Tao! Zhu Ling exclaimed. The reincarnation Tao was ranked 7th among the supreme Das. Yin Yu was also shocked. He couldn't believe it. He had always been proud of comprehending the destruction Tao, but Lu Yiping had comprehended 2 supreme Das. While Yin Yu, Zhu Ling, and the others were still in shock, Tao after Tao flew out from Lu Yiping's body, including the reincarnation Tao, 5 elemental Tao, and lightning Tao. There were a total of 20 Das. Moreover, every single one of them was ranked in the top 50. 20 rays of light of the great path shot straight into the sky, piercing through it. The radiance of the 10 great Tao of Yin Valley, which had just illuminated the flying dragon continent, dimmed under the radiance of Lu Yiping's 20 great Tao. The radiance of Lu Yiping's 20 great Tao completely covered the radiance of the 10 great Tao of Yin Valley. Lu Yiping punched out. In an instant, the cycle of reincarnation appeared once again. The 5 elements intertwined with one another. Light shone brightly, darkness as deep as the abyss. Countless bolts of divine lightning raged, and 20 different Grandaos followed Huang Xiaolong's fist force to meet Yin Valley, Dark Hell Ghost Beast, and Zhu Ling's Grandaos. Rumble! A loud explosion shook the heavens. Heaven and earth flickered for a moment. It was as if the flying dragon continent had been hammered by a gigantic hammer. All the rankers in the flying dragon continent felt their entire bodies freeze. Those who were high up in the sky all fiercely smashed onto the ground, and those who were on the ground all knelt down. The flying dragon city was lifted up by the waves of air and completely dispersed. As for Du Yi de Luo Xingxing, and the others who had escaped from the Flying Dragon City, they all spat out blood as if they had suffered a heavy blow. Yin Valley, the dark hell ghost beast, and Zhu Ling felt a terrifying force slamming into them, forcing them to retreat. The Yin Valley was still alright, it was only blasted several thousand miles away, but the black hell ghost beast was smashed out of the Flying Dragon City, smashing into the ground. As for the Zhu Ling, her divine armor had completely exploded, and terrifying cracks appeared on her sacred body, smashing to the end of the sky. The earth trembled incessantly. Rumbling noises resounded endlessly. When the dark hell ghost beast and Zhu Ling crashed into the ground, they stirred up a cloud of dust that swept across countless Li Dui, De Luo, and the others were dumbfounded. Not only did Huang Xiaolong block the 3 Holy Realm experts' attacks with one punch, but he also sent them flying. Lu Yiping's attack was so powerful. Even Yin Valley, who had 14 mu of auspicious clouds, was sent flying by Lu Yiping. Everyone was stunned speechless for a long time. Yin Valley stabilized himself, and he felt his blood boiling. Heat rose in his throat, and when he opened his mouth, he spat out a mouthful of blood. He looked at Lu Yiping in horror. The fusion of 2 supreme Grand Das was so powerful. Moreover, Lu Yiping had comprehended 20 Grand Das, and all of them were ranked in the top 50. Yin Valley found it hard to believe. He had reached Saint Realm earlier than Zhu Ling, and he had only comprehended 10 Grand Das. He was well aware of how difficult it was to comprehend Grand Das. He had reached Saint Realm 60 million years ago, but he had only comprehended 20 Grand Das. Just comprehending the destruction Grand Das alone took him 50 million years. However, Lu Yiping had only reached Saint Realm a few million years ago, and not only had he comprehended 2 supreme Grand Das, but he had also comprehended more than 20 Grand Das. You've only reached Saint Realm a few million years ago, but you've already comprehended 20 Grand Das. Yin Valley's face was gloomy. Taurus Longjiao sneered when he heard that. Lu Yiping had the Creation Jade Disc's main disc. After reaching Saint Realm, he had already comprehended most of the 1,000 Grand Das in the main disc. He had also comprehended most of the 700 Grand Das in the 7 Creation Jade discs that he had obtained. So now Lu Yiping had comprehended more than 20 Grand Das. Lu Yiping walked toward Yin Valley, glanced at the auspicious cloud above his head, and said, "You're just a facade." Auspicious cloud saint power was not the only factor that determined a person's combat strength. The most important factor was the 3,000 Grand Das. Yin Valley's saint power was indeed stronger than his, but his Grand Das were much stronger. When he heard Lu Yiping say that he was just a facade, Yin Valley's face turned ugly. At this moment, Lu Yiping suddenly took a step forward and came in front of him. He threw a punch. Yin Valley was shocked and raised his fist to block. However, the 3 of them could not block Lu Yiping's punch, let alone him now. Instantly, Yin Valley was sent flying again. Yin Valley opened his mouth and spat out another mouthful of blood. His eyes were filled with anger. "Lu Yiping, so what if you have 2 Grand Das? You can't kill me. If I want to leave, I'll leave. You can't stop me." As he said that, his figure flashed and he flew away. "Lu Yiping, the next time we meet, I'll definitely kill you." Just as Yin Valley was about to leave, Lu Yiping's Grand Das suddenly shone brightly. Another Grand Das flew out. When this Grand Das flew out, the entire Flying Dragon continent space was locked. Yin Valley, who was flying away, was blocked by an invisible force and bounced back. Spacetime Grand Das. Yin Valley looked at Lu Yiping's Grand Das and was shocked. Spacetime Grand Das were ranked 3rd among the 3,000 Grand Das. It could control the surrounding time and space. The stronger one was, the larger the spacetime area they could control. With Lu Yiping's current sage power, it was easy for him to seal the entire Flying Dragon continent spacetime. When the Dark Hell Ghost Beast and Zhu Ling saw Lu Yiping's spacetime Grand Das, their expressions were the same as Yin Valley's. "Spacetime Grand Das, it's actually spacetime Grand Das." Zhu Ling muttered to herself as if she had lost her soul. Even the immemorial Heavenly Emperor could not comprehend the spacetime Grand Das, but Lu Yiping did it. Where did this Lu Yiping come from? Chapter 398. 3 Supreme Grandas, Du E Grand Luo, and the other sovereigns who were hiding in the distance exclaimed in shock. Comprehending one type of supreme great Tao was already a matter that shocked the myriad worlds. But now Lu Yiping had comprehended 3 types. On top of that, he had comprehended the third-ranked Grand Tao of space and time. Lu Yiping looked at the shocked Inu. In a flicker he appeared in front of Inu and punched again, sending Inu flying. Lu Yiping's punch landed squarely on Inu's chest. The Inu divine armor's chest was completely penetrated. Not only was the divine armor penetrated, but even Inu's saint physique was also penetrated. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air when they saw Inu's saint physique being penetrated. Inu was a saint who had cultivated 10 Grand Taos and possessed the supreme Grand Tao of destruction. His saint physique was nourished by Grand Tao energy day and night, almost invincible. But now it was penetrated by Lu Yiping's punch. How terrifying was Lu Yiping, who possessed 3 supreme Grand Taos with a single punch. The dark hell ghost beast roared and charged at Lu Yiping. Its mountain-like beast claws slammed down on Lu Yiping's head. However, just as it was about to hit Lu Yiping's head, Lu Yiping raised his hand and stopped it. It was as if Lu Yiping was holding up a chaotic divine mountain, holding the dark hell ghost beast back. No matter how hard the dark hell ghost beast tried to increase its strength, it couldn't shake Lu Yiping in the slightest. Lu Yiping's 3 supreme Grand Taos burst forth, and with a twist of his hand, the dark hell ghost beast screamed in pain. Its claws were actually broken by Lu Yiping. Lu Yiping threw the dark hell ghost beast's claws to Taurus Longjiao. Keep them for tonight's barbecue. Du Yi and the others didn't know what to say. The dragon horn golden bull took the black hell ghost beast's claw and grinned. Okay, I'll get some good ingredients later. The dark hell demonic beast was furious. It opened its mouth and roared, attacking Taurus Longjiao. How dare you blaspheme my holy body? Die! However, before his attack could reach Taurus Longjiao, Lu Yiping sent him flying with a punch. Lu Yiping's punch landed squarely on his opponent's throat. The throat was the weakest part of the black hell ghost beast's defense. With a crack, the throat of the black hell ghost beast was shattered by Lu Yiping. An astonishing hole appeared in its throat, from which the blood of a saint gushed out like a golden spring. The black hell ghost beast was thrown into the air. It took a long time before it fell to the ground. It didn't get up again for a long time. Zhu Ling, whose divine armor had exploded and whose body was covered in cracks, felt a sharp pain in her throat when she saw this. Lu Yiping looked at Zhu Ling. Zhu Ling's expression changed drastically. Lord Lu Yiping. However, she didn't know what to say. She had changed the way she addressed Lu Yiping. She no longer had the confidence and calmness that she had at the beginning of the convention of 1,000 races. Lu Yiping walked over slowly. What do you want to say? Zhu Ling stuttered. Please let me go. Her voice was so weak that it couldn't be heard. Lu Yiping took a step forward and arrived in front of Zhu Ling. He also punched Zhu Ling's throat. Zhu Ling felt an intense pain from her throat to the depths of her soul. It wasn't real pain just now, but it was real pain this time. The hole in Zhu Ling's throat seemed to be bigger than the black hell ghost beast's. Zhu Ling crashed next to the black hell ghost beast, causing sand and dust to fly all over the black hell ghost beast's face. What did you just say? Say it again, Lu Yiping said to Zhu Ling. Zhu Ling wanted to speak, but found that she couldn't even open her mouth. She was shocked, angry, and regretful. How could they withstand Lu Yiping's 3 supreme great paths? Mount Buzhou flew back into Lu Yiping's hand. There was no more aura in the ancestral grounds of the Star Maple Divine Sect. Looking at the disciples rushing out from the various peaks of the Star Maple Divine Sect, Lu Yiping said indifferently, "Kill them all." Some of the disciples of the Star Maple Divine Sect were from the Imba clan. Those who weren't had already submitted to the Imba clan. Immediately, Taurus Longjiao and Mei's Tian broke through the sky and rushed into the Star Maple Divine Sect. The sky pillar in Taurus Longjiao's hand enlarged and swept out. The sect master and the supreme elders of the Star Maple Divine Sect were swept away like leaves. Soon blood dyed the countless peaks of the Star Maple Divine Sect red. Blood gathered into a stream and flowed between the peaks. Lu Yiping arrived at the Star Maple Divine Sect's ancestral grounds and punched out. His fist broke through space and smashed the Imba clan's treasury door. As the Dark Boar race's treasury door was smashed into smithereens, shocking treasure chi and chaos spiritual chi rushed out from the treasury. The treasure chi and chaos spiritual chi were like torrential waves crashing against the Star Maple Divine Sect's ancestral land. Just from the treasure chi and chaos spiritual chi, one could see how shocking the treasures of the Imba clan's treasury were. Lu Yiping walked into the Imba clan's treasury door and looked around. All kinds of chaos lights flickered as if he had entered a colorful world. Taurus Longjiao and Maze Tian had finished cleaning up the Star Maple Divine Sect's disciples and arrived at the treasury door. When they saw the dazzling world in front of them, they were stunned. Even Taurus Longjiao, who had followed Lu Yiping for many years, couldn't help but feel shocked. Previously, they had found the Imba clan's treasury in the Heavenly Water Mainland's land of Black Devils. But compared to the treasury in front of them, it paled in comparison. Lu Yiping ignored the treasures, chaos spiritual herbs, and chaos spirit stones. He went straight to the place where the tree creation tree was kept. He summoned the tree creation tree and started to merge with the tree creation tree. The tree creation tree that was 280,000 meters long glowed brightly as it continued to grow. The tree trunk grew thicker, and the number of Grand Dao runes on the tree trunk increased. The amount of profound yellow chi in the tree creation tree increased. Soon, the tree creation tree broke through 290,000 meters. One day later, when the tree creation tree broke through 300,000 meters, light erupted from the tree creation tree like an erupting volcano. In that instant, the chaos spiritual chi disappeared as it transformed into profound yellow chi. The Grand Dao aura around the tree creation tree increased exponentially, and it lit up the treasury. Taurus Longjiao and the mysterious Sky Ruler were enshrouded in a dazzling light. The Dragon Horn Golden Bull and mysterious Sky Hegemon couldn't hide their shock as they stared at the glorious achievements. When the tree creation tree broke through 300,000 meters, the words on the tree trunk shone brightly, and the 11th stage of the immortal Skywood art appeared. Based on the tree creation tree's previous growth, the 11th stage of the immortal Skywood art would only appear when it reached 320,000 meters. But now, at 300,000 meters, the tree creation tree transformed, and the 11th stage of the immortal Skywood art appeared. After breaking through 300,000 meters, the tree creation tree continued to devour the remaining tree pieces in the treasury and continued to grow. In the end, it stopped growing at 340,000 meters. Lu Yiping then took out the Buzhou Mountain and merged it with the Buzhou Mountain stones in the treasury. Several days later, the Buzhou Mountain's height reached 21,000 meters. Next, Lu Yiping sat cross-legged under the tree creation tree, devouring the profound yellow chi as he cultivated the immortal Skywood art and continued to comprehend the Fortune Jade Disc's Grand Dao. Taurus Longjiao and the mysterious Sky Ruler also began to cultivate under the tree creation tree. 300 years went by. As Lu Yiping continued to devour the profound yellow chi, the auspicious cloud above his head grew every 100 years. 300 years later, the auspicious cloud had grown from 10 mu to 13 mu. Lu Yiping's immortal Skywood art had also reached the 10th stage. As for the 8 pieces of the Fortune Jade Disc's Grand Dao, he had almost fully comprehended them. Chapter 400. In these 300 years, there were no major movements in the immortal world, nor did the Lord of the immortal world send an army to the divine world. This made Du Yi, Big Luo, and the others who had been on tenterhooks in the divine world heave a sigh of relief. 300 years later, Lu Yiping and the other two left the Star Maple Divine Sect. Before leaving, the three of them took away all the treasures in the Yinyang Boar race's treasury. After leaving, Lu Yiping did not leave the Flying Dragon continent. Instead, he went to the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce's headquarters. In these few hundred years, the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce had sent many messages, saying that they had found the building tree and Buzhou Mountain stone. When the True Dragon Chamber of Commerce's president Xie Chuhan learned of Lu Yiping's arrival, She quickly led a group of true Dragon Chamber of Commerce's experts to welcome Lu Yiping. Lu Yiping explained his purpose of visit, and Xie Chuhan took out the building tree and Buzhou mountain stone that she had prepared beforehand. In these few years, the true Dragon Chamber of Commerce had found quite a lot of building tree and Buzhou mountain stone. Although it could not be compared to the Yinyang Boar race's treasury, it was much more than the Sky Water Lair. Lu Yiping paid the purple gold chaos water to the true Dragon Chamber of Commerce, according to the price they had agreed on. After putting away the building tree block and Buzhou mountain stone, Lu Yiping left the true Dragon Chamber of Commerce and found a place to fuse the building tree block and Buzhou mountain stone. A few days later, the building tree finally grew to 370,000 meters after merging with the building tree. As for Buzhou mountain, it had grown to 30,000 meters. When the building tree grew to 370,000 meters, the black-yellow qi gushed out like an ocean, and the Grand Dao runes on the tree grew by a lot. Lu Yiping stood under the building tree and looked up. Between the lush branches and leaves, heaven-opening words intertwined to form a mysterious diagram that flickered with light. Lu Yiping looked at these mysterious diagrams and felt that they were extremely profound and mysterious. These mysterious diagrams seemed to contain a supreme Grand Dao technique. However, these diagrams were not complete yet. Taurus Longjiao looked at the building tree's abnormally thick trunk and said, "I wonder how is the building tree's defense?" Lu Yiping laughed. "Try attacking with all your might." Taurus Longjiao was stunned. "Full power." Lu Yiping nodded. "Full force. Use all your bull strength." Taurus Longjiao walked towards Jianshu and stood 100 meters away from him. Light flickered as he transformed into a golden bull. His true form was his strongest defensive state. After transforming into its true form, Taurus Longjiao's entire body shone with a golden light, and its dragon horns flickered with lightning. When its aura reached its peak, it suddenly slammed its claws at Jianshu. The monstrous thunder power and the sky-filling golden light bombarded the tree of creation. There was a loud bang. Jianshu stood still, while Taurus Longjiao was forced to retreat. He gem in bewilderment was shocked. Taurus Longjiao was a supreme sovereign, only half a step away from the Saint Realm. Moreover, he had transformed into his true form to attack, which was comparable to several supreme sovereigns attacking at the same time. But Jianshu hadn't even flinched. Not even a piece of tree bark fell off. Taurus Longjiao didn't believe it and attacked again with all his might. Jianshu still didn't move, but Taurus Longjiao was forced back even further. When he came to a stop, he felt the blood in his body churning, and his hands were in extreme pain. Ruler Mystery Heaven was shocked. Lu Yiping said to Taurus Longjiao, "With Jianshu's current defense, let alone you, even many Dao-confirming sages wouldn't be able to break through his defense." "Even Dao-confirming sages can't break through his defense?" Ruler Mystery Heaven was shocked. Dao-confirming sages were the strongest existences in the myriad of worlds. If even Dao-confirming sages couldn't break through Jianshu's defense, then how strong was Jianshu's defense? Taurus Longjiao smiled bitterly. "No wonder I couldn't break through Jianshu's defense, even after using my bull strength. Even Dao-confirming sages couldn't break through Jianshu's defense, let alone a ruler like him." Looking at Jianshu in front of him, Taurus Longjiao couldn't help but feel powerless and defeated. A few thousand years ago, Jianshu had just regained its vitality and sprouted a pea-sized sprout. Now, it was already a 370,000 meters tall tree. Even his all-out attack couldn't shake it at all. This made Taurus Longjiao feel like he was in his twilight years. Was he old? Lu Yiping sensed the change in Taurus Longjiao's expression and said, "Don't be discouraged. Your talent and cultivation speed aren't inferior to the golden lightning sage Zhu Ling. Sooner or later, you'll surpass her." Then, his gaze landed on Jianshu. "Jianshu is the universe's #1 divine tree. You definitely can't compare to it." Taurus Longjiao nodded seriously. Lu Yiping retrieved Jianshu, then strolled around the Flying Dragon continent with Taurus Longjiao and Mysterious Heaven Ruler. As they strolled, he tried to sense the Barbarian Dragon token he had obtained from the Barbarian Dragon's abode. According to Lu Yiping's thoughts, the Barbarian Dragon's abode should be on the Flying Dragon continent. As long as he was within a certain range, he would be able to sense the barbarian dragon's abode through the token. However, the flying dragon continent was very vast. It wasn't easy to find the barbarian dragon's abode with just a token. 1 month later, there was still no result. 3 months later, it was still the same. Lu Yiping didn't feel discouraged. Finally, on the 4th month, when they were passing by the ruins of an ancient city, the barbarian dragon token finally vibrated. Lu Yiping was overjoyed. He followed the direction of the token and flew towards the depths of the ancient city. In the end, he found the barbarian dragon's abode somewhere underground. The three of them blasted open the restrictions of the abode and successfully entered the abode. However, after searching for a while, Lu Yiping was disappointed. Although there were many treasures in the abode, there wasn't the creation jade disc. Lu Yiping, on the other hand, found a lot of information about the immemorial heavenly court in the abode. He even found some information about Jianshu's main body. This was a pleasant surprise. The immortal world. Lu Yiping muttered. From the information, Lu Yiping knew that Jianshu's main body was in the immortal world. As for where in the immortal world, he wasn't sure. However, knowing that it was in the immortal world, it was easy to find. Now, he had only obtained fragments of Jianshu. How big was Jianshu's main body? If Jianshu merged with the main body, it would grow to a terrifying extent. After plundering the treasures in the barbarian dragon's abode, Lu Yiping left the flying dragon continent. However, he didn't head to the immortal world immediately. Instead, he searched for the nests of the Inbora race. Other than their headquarters, the Inbora race had hundreds of nests in the divine world. Among these nests, there were pieces of Jianshu. Although there weren't many pieces of Jianshu in these nests, many little drops made an ocean. If Jianshu merged with all the pieces of these nests, it should be able to break through to 400,000 meters. Once it broke through to 400,000 meters, Jianshu would bear fruit. Therefore, for the next 10 years, Lu Yiping searched for the nests of the Inbora race. From Inu, Lu Yiping already knew the location of these nests, so it wasn't difficult to find them. After 10 years, Jianshu finally broke through to 400,000 meters after fusing with the pieces of Jianshu in the treasure trove of the Inbora race's nests. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.